Cool technology here as well.
Yeah, show us some cool technology.
Yep.
So yeah, you're looking great on camera. Let me just
I'm always looking great on camera.
Humble brag.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Not just a pretty face.
Let you get away with anything.
Kate, call me. You know where I am.
So yeah, we can get started here.
All right.
I'm Jesse from the Digital Acid here with.
Hey, I'm Sebastian, and I'm also from the Digital Acid, and we got a very special guest on our very first the Digital Acid podcast, Simon Che de Boer.
Che de Boer.
Yes.
Che de Boer.
Che de Boer.
So
looks good on a business card.
And so we're fresh out of OC5, which is, if you're not familiar with what that is, that's Oculus Connect 5. And it's Facebook's virtual reality event. And they had some big stuff to announce, which was the,
Oh my God, the new Quest. I don't know if you guys have heard of the Quest, but it's Oculus's latest offering. It includes a lot of new features that they really think it is going to change the VR landscape. I mean, that sounds really lame, but honestly, it's pretty cool to have full body tracking, right? So you can move your arms and legs.
Wow.
What else?
Yeah, it has inside out tracking. It's the computer's built into the headset.
Yeah.
It's $400,
Which is fucking
Really cheap.
Which is
Amazing.
cheap. Which is cheap.
And the display is pretty much like Rift. It doesn't have the screen door effect as much, or at least I didn't see. Man, it's a little badass. But,
Yeah, there's plenty to say about the Quest and Oculus 5 and all. But honestly,
what's more important?
What more interesting, we're sure, is our guest.
That's right. And
Yeah.
so he's here all the way from New Zealand. And I don't know how much of an intro I can give, but I can say that this man has done some amazing photogrammetry, volumetric video. I met him maybe a little bit over a year ago. What do you think?
We met in style.
Oh, we definitely did.
Yeah, how did you guys meet? I'm really curious.
We're going to renege a bit. How did we meet? It was through
we
LinkedIn initially. I believe.
LinkedIn is a good space to meet, and we were both kind of interested in some similar spaces. This the space that we're broadcasting from was a virtual reality space, and now it's a blockchain space, and it's a starfish.
There's a lot of weird synergy going on right there.
So this is actually
it's XYZ000
person, and we had a legendary night. I won't really jump too much into it.
No,
but
we lost a few things and gained a few.
Yeah. So what's on your mind a little bit? Maybe actually, you know what? Let's for the people who are not aware about photogrammetry and volumetric video, just break it down in a layman's terms for someone who doesn't even know what it is.
Well, I mean, it's the best way to really say what we're in the business of doing is encapsulating reality. We actually recently bookmarked the website actualreality.io.
That's right.
Which we thought was pretty cool. So it's an education initiative, but right.
Did you watch that video? We watched that video.
Yeah, the actual reality video. I know. I saw it.
Yeah.
Someone sent it to me recently. I'm like, this is too funny.
That was so
I'm so
good.
glad you like that. Yeah.
So if you haven't seen this video, it's a viral video that has this guy has his VR headset, but it's
just cut out.
It's cut out so you can see right through it.
Yeah, and he's running around touching plants and going, ooh.
And he's getting
so real.
All that haptic feedback from the trees that he's touching, and it's a really immersive experience if you haven't checked it out.
It's pretty cool.
Actual reality.
But what is
this? Because this is beyond that, right? This is beyond actual reality.
Yeah, I mean, we're using actual reality as the blueprint. Right. Encapsulating real world spaces and places and faces, which is pretty cool. Going to places that, quite frankly, people do not have access to in the real world for whatever reason. The exclusivity of it is kind of a catalyst in itself. So it's the technologies we used. that we've invented while doing this. We obviously haven't reinvented the wheel. We're still, predominantly using Unreal Engine, capturing reality for the point cloud acquisition. So basically to get to layman terms there, it's the ability of taking thousands and thousands of photographs from different angles, making sure you don't get any occlusion, which basically means you need to map out your environment really well. You need to know what you've taken photos of. And then you're throwing all those photos into the computer, and your computer with your 4 Titan Vs and V100s. Thank you, NVIDIA. I love you. They've been very kind to us. Yeah, man. Like a few, 20, 30K worth of graphics cards they've just been throwing us like fucking hotcakes.
I've been seeing your builds on Facebook, and I'm like, you're sweating.
It's crazy, man. It's like we're working out of a small little lounge in Wellington, with these supercomputers just sipping red wine and smoking cigarettes out the window next to like $100,000 builds, which is pretty nutty. But we like to keep it real. But we like to keep it bohemian.
Okay, so let's
pull it back a bit.
Let's pull back a bit, and you come from music, and that's what really I thought was really cool about it. I love the fact that you started in a band.
Yeah,
come on,
you want to talk about? Yeah, well, let's talk about how we got into it.
Let's rock star.
Let's talk about how we got into it. Like that is the crazy thing. I've always been into music. Did digital composition years and years ago. Bachelor of Recording Arts. Did a bit of radio DJing and voiceover work as well.
Nice.
106.7 Call FM.
Yes, I would.
Wow, well practiced.
Gloria Jean's Coffee.
Nice.
And kind of all this kind of cheesy
Hello.
shit. Yeah. So,
tuning in.
But always music, always art. As I like to say, when art meets science. And so that's been my thing. Did fine arts. Every kind of medium you could imagine, kind of jump from one medium to another, even done some natural language home automation setups using, back in 2008, that quite frankly was before Siri or any of that, My daughter believed we actually had a real human called Brian that, so I built this machine and she grew up with it and his name was Brian and they used like natural language to talk to him and he would talk back in Ivona text-to-speech.
Wow.
Really good British sounding voice. And so I'd be like, hey Brian, what's the new Big Bang? So the whole thing was just this mashup of technologies.
So this was like an early Jarvis from Iron Man, right?
Yeah.
He's the punk rock Iron Man.
I built this because I was
from New Zealand
and I wanted one. So everything that's been done has always been like out of personal necessity.
Yeah.
What is it? Something is the mother of all invention. Necessity is the mother of all invention. So,
right. Thomas Edison.
Yeah. But no, that was cool. And
so you did some touring, right? With your band
yeah. I mean, most of it, you'd laugh. Most of it was actually in my bedroom, but everyone thought we were a real band. It was actually just me doing very 9 Inch Nails.
Oh, so you were the one-man band.
I was composing all the different instruments, and everyone was convinced that was a real band. And so I'd be on these radio shows, and I'd be asking when we're next touring and all this. And so then I thought, fuck it, I've been doing this for 10 years in my bedroom. Let's make a real band. And so I taught myself how to play drums and sing at the same time.
Oh man,
Phil Collins style.
Awesome.
Nice.
So we did that for a little while. We didn't really do many big gigs. It was definitely better composed on the computer than it was in real life.
I can feel it. I wanted to sing that so bad.
Oh my god, yeah. I just think of the gorilla every time you guys say that. But,
oh no.
So that was that. Life was interesting, good.
Yeah. And so how does a musician jump into how does it sick shit you're doing now?
I mean, while you were designing like a self AI.
Yeah, early days.
Before the music?
During the music.
Okay,
I tinker with stuff. So
and then somehow
do you think it's the music hardware that makes you jump into it, right?
It's all node based. It's all node based. It's all signal processing.
Right.
It's all putting nodes together to get your desired result.
For sure.
And so if you think in modular fashions and you have a fundamental understanding of every module, you don't necessarily need to write the module itself, but you know what modules connect. It's called When Ideas Have Sex, which was one of the first TED Talks I ever watched.
When ideas have sex.
Yeah. It's a great pickup line.
Hell yeah.
How I pivoted, life was pretty good. 31. It's still a bit hard to talk about, but basically went for a traumatic life experience. So I was about to get primary care of my daughter. I'd been raising her quite a long time. Anika Moo.
But you call her Moo.
Moo, yeah. It was my 31st birthday. Life was good, having a great party. You know, life is good. Beautiful girlfriend, beautiful house, beautiful daughter. And yeah, someone set fire to it the next day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like actual
fire, yeah. And so there's this amazing footage of this half-naked albino running across an inner city warehouse rooftop with no shirt on. I swear so much. It was just like, oh my God, fucking. Like they had to beep it all on the 6 o'clock news. There's helicopters flying around, 80 firefighters.
Oh my God.
You know, it was an epic thing. You know, made the front page of everything and everyone.
So was
on the
your
radio.
area or just your house?
Well, it was a 6 apartments. It was a dodgy slumlord house that I'd renovated. And you know, so I'd learned how to also sand floors, and you know, I just learn things.
You're a doer.
I'm a doer. Yeah.
You tinker.
Yeah. So I was like, I need a nicer house, but I don't have the money, so I just got a really shitty house and plastered and sanded the floors down and made it like this diamond in the rough. Like all around me were drug dealers and whatnot, but they all respected me, and they're like, he's the guy you don't fuck with. And so I was basically looked after by all these gangsters. Me and my daughter were very well looked after in this area of what was quite an impoverished area that was, you know, in the city, which has now become extremely upmarket. So, so the place was arsoned.
Jeez.
And after that, a few days later, I had my court case that I'd been waiting 5 years for, and they threw it out because I had no house. So I lost custody of my child. Me and my partner broke up a few weeks later. Quite some time later, she took her own life.
Oh my God.
So I went through hell. My life just fell apart. And so I had this crazy idea to deal with the PTSD. I'd always been into VR in the 90s. And I knew that the army and military were using it to treat post-traumatic stress disorder.
Sure.
And so I was basically going to recreate my house using old photographs while taking Molly to positively reinforce the memory.
Wow.
Sure.
Because I was having nightmares every night, sweats a whole lot of the house. And so for some reason it wasn't a Nika or anything else. The house became the
obsession.
The obsession, yeah. It was my point of security.
Sure.
And when I lost that, I lost everything. So it was kind of like that in my mind became the thing. And so I knew nothing of any of this. I mean, I'd played when I was 7, 8 years old with like Imagine and Lightwave and all that kind of stuff on my Amiga in the late 80s. So to say I didn't have a background in this is a lie. It's just that for 20 years I discovered music and girls.
Women,
which was a massive distraction for about 20 years. So it took a pretty dramatic life thing. Also, you know, my daughter was getting older, and it wasn't, you know, my sex on tap, my lifestyle was a little bit, you know, good, but rock starry, and I didn't want her to to
be around.
So you know, I needed to improve my
probably the best choice.
my standing as an honorable gentleman.
I love watching videos of you and your little daughter have so much fun, and
seen these videos?
Oh yeah, I mean, we're friends on Facebook.
Yeah, okay.
You know, he's a shareaholic, so if you're not like,
I'm sharing with all the CEOs and all these like industry leaders.
That's what they want to see. You know,
well,
they want to see real life.
Yeah, it's how you like to deal with people. Like, I'm not an email guy. I'm not to whom it may concern, which is probably the reason why, from a business point, I do struggle a little. But yeah, so basically, you know, thought I could use all these old photographs.
This guy's struggling. Come on now. He's being humble. We won't name drop what he's doing now or what he's done, but let's keep it going. But, you know, you do good. I think you do good.
I mean, look, and honestly, it's content is king.
Right.
So using all those photographs, discovered photogrammetry and discovered it at an early stage when people were still just scanning shoes.
What year is this?
2014.
2014.
Got myself an Oculus, you know, when the Kickstarter came in.
Okay.
Bought myself a
early
Phantom,
on.
Before Facebook bought it.
I'm old school, like Kickstarter.
You had a mission, right?
Yeah,
you wanted to get this done, and you were going to do anything you could to do it.
I learned
a driven creative.
We learned how to fly drones. I spent 2.5 years basically losing my mind doing research.
Right.
And so that became the obsession that got me through. Was literally 2.5 years. Like, you gotta realize, I did get my daughter back after a few months.
Okay.
Because, well, at the time the mum was just a mess. I mean, she's good now, hence why I can travel. So we're good. Just to be clear, she's a wonderful mum. Just, you know, she was a lot younger than I was, and so she was just, you know, a bit delinquent at the time. But yeah, so
why did you choose photogrammetry to solve this problem? Because a lot of people don't even know about photogrammetry. I really want to bring you in.
I didn't know about photogrammetry. When I came across it, I thought it was friggin' magic.
Yeah.
So I discovered something called photosynth many years earlier that Microsoft had developed. It was called photosynth, and it was an early stage photogrammetry. And I was actually going to digitize my house then when I discovered it, but I didn't have enough money to buy a camera.
Yeah.
Which was frustrating because that would have solved the problem essentially. So
someone who's never experienced a photogrammetric experience, how could you best explain it?
Well, it's like actual
why
reality.
Is it better than a photo or better than anything else? Because you can walk around.
Yeah, okay. So freedom of 6 degrees, and I really despise the way that Samsung Gear pushed VR. I think we should have always been clear that 360 is 360 and that VR is actually VR. Now we have to call it true VR, which is just friggin' annoying because it has absolutely fucked over the general end user and has held back the industry in a few years. I honestly feel that. I strongly believe that. It's been too many abbreviations of words to mention, and so we don't even pivot towards, we do VR, but we're a VFX R&D company. We're not a VR company.
And what's your company, by the way, so that way
realityvirtual.co,
right? You got to see this
It's a pretty cool logo. It's like literally a camera with a 3D cube.
Yeah.
Funny enough, Capturing Reality have a very similar logo, but we were first. That was ours first. I've got the papers to prove it.
Boom! You heard it.
But still, they're one of our biggest sponsors. We love those guys, just to be clear. And it's actually really appropriate that our logos look the same or similar because people always think that when they're putting out stuff, it's us and vice versa. So it's kind of a mutually beneficial relationship.
Sure.
So yeah, why it's better? Like taking all these photos,
or what is it?
Well,
someone who's never seen photogrammetry.
Okay, I will try layman. I struggle with layman.
Yeah,
I'm clear
because
about
he's
this,
very smart. That's why
I'm very specific. But
well, he knows the terminology too. So
for sure,
yeah,
he can get in the weeds. That's for sure. He can get into the details.
Well, as I refer to it, we're in the trenches.
So you're trying to save money basically by not using the top equipment, and you redesigned it yourself because you had to you didn't have the money to spend on it.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, okay. So pipeline. The big problems that everyone else runs into right now with this is realism. And is baked lighting and all this stuff. So they do photogrammetry, but it has no shimmer, it has no shine, it has no level of detail that you actually need to experience in the real world. So my thing was literally to find a way to create something as realistic as real life. If you don't feel like you're there, we're failing. Right. And so the standard from the get-go was not how good we can make the game look. For me, it's a slice of life. It's a memory. It's actually being able to be somewhere and genuinely feel like you're there.
So you're all about...
it's like a home movie or something, right?
Yeah. So we want
representation. It has to be down there to a T.
You wanted to go
realist.
back to that home.
Yeah. So if I couldn't trick my mind into thinking that I was back home, then I was fucked. I'd failed myself.
I see.
And so as a result, we built a whole bunch of pipeline, and we called trade secrets, or in New Zealand, which under IP law, just by being in New Zealand and working, we're already patenting our stuff as we go.
Right.
Nice.
It's New Zealand law. It's called trade secrets. Everyone's like, you need patents. I'm like, no, I just need to keep my R&D company in New Zealand. Shut up. Because that's the first thing.
Is that on an international scale too? Do they automatically apply for international patents for you?
No, it just doesn't matter. It's under New Zealand. As long as you don't tell anyone outside of New Zealand, you're fine.
Right.
And the thing I don't like about patents is that you're essentially giving off your abstract thought, your ideas.
Exactly.
And as soon as we do that, then people are going to be able to reverse engineer it. So what we have done over others are a dozen things. One, a few years ago, we cracked the 700 million points limit. So what I mean by that is when people are baking in detail into these scenes, they're stuck at a certain resolution due to memory management issues. And we found a way to resolve that through clever memory and data management. And so we can scan scenes of infinite points, 20 billion, 40 billion. The highest we've done right now is about 40 billion, and that's pretty high. Just to give you an idea,
what's
most
the difference
scenes,
between, give us an idea.
Okay, let me explain what most scenes consist of. They probably consist of a few 8K textures.
Okay.
Which is probably like a few 100 million in a scene at most. Maybe not even that. Like most people think 30 million's high.
Okay.
And you're doing what?
We're doing about 400 to 800 8K to 16K textures.
So what he means is he's a BAMF and that they're kicking ass out there.
Yeah, so our level of detail is a magnitude higher than anything else. On top of that, ours has shimmer and shine because we're actually using the computer to look at the images and extrapolate roughness, normal maps, all these kind of things that a computer needs to know what an object is. It's called physical-based rendering. And so we're actually using now what the exciting shit that we're doing. This is like the holy moly, you're fucking kidding me stuff, is we can take a single photograph, forget about photogrammetry, but a single photograph and extrapolate all the fundamentals from that photograph. Let it be the perfect Alberto with no lighting.
Wow.
Normal maps with high level detail, contextually aware. It knows what it's looking at, so it knows what normals look like on certain objects. It knows wood grain has a wood grain texture. It knows carpet has a carpet texture.
Interesting.
It knows.
So what about
rocks have a
skin?
rock
How does
texture.
it how does it transmit?
Well, we've
light
trained
to
it
the
with
skin?
all the photographs that we've been doing in the past. So we've been, doing delighting methods and gathering massive data acquisition, which is basically, I knew photogrammetry was going to go to deep learning. I just didn't know it was going to happen in a few months, which is literally what happened, because it's only a few months ago NVIDIA gave us these cards, and within literally 2 months we have a working MVP.
Thank you, NVIDIA.
Yeah, well, thank you, Rick Champagne. You are a god among men, and I love your name, and I'm going to steal it one day.
Well, in photogrammetry, just to touch base here, I think was it this room that you had the vibe set up?
Yeah.
In this exact room.
So this is crazy. So what happened is,
What did you show me that
well,
day?
this is how, how did we even get here? Literally, so I'm working on my bedroom in New Zealand.
Okay.
And I'm showing off, I showed off this alleyway scene that everyone had just presumed was me holding a handy cam walking down an alleyway. But it was like literally 3 years ago, and no one had seen anything to that level of realism. I look at it now and I cringe. But people had heard that we'd done good work. So I went off and I was doing another passion project called Mana VR, which was a beach scene. Now, just even getting the data itself, I just finally got some money to get a nice Nikon D810. And I'm walking on slippery rocks, and I slip over and I break my middle finger. It's still fucking thick as hell. And like, so I'm in this cavern.
Knuckle joint?
Yeah. So you can see my middle finger.
Oh man.
Yeah. So I'm trying to hold my finger steady there, but
So that's blood, sweat, and tears. If you didn't understand the metaphor.
Slipped on the rocks, broke the friggin' finger. Well, it was pretty nasty and pretty fucking swollen.
In New Zealand on a beach, right?
In New Zealand on a beach.
What beach is this?
I don't know, just some beach. So the tide comes in, and we're in this concave, and we've got 45 minutes to actually take the photos before we'll drown from the water coming in and trapping us. And so I have to take like 3,000 photos with basically a broken finger. And I did it, but I was so
You
adrenaline.
did it with the broken finger?
I was more worried that I'd just almost smashed this brand new camera that I'd waited for years to get my hands on. Like, to have a $6,000 camera to me is like, that's insane.
Wait, so
like,
what did you do to the
punk
finger?
rock.
I mean, should we go through the gory details? I guess not. But
I mean, I've got actual footage of me slipping earlier while holding my phone. So it was the second time I'd
we got to edit all that shit together.
There's the second time
yeah. Right now, we're gonna put that stuff in there for you. Yeah.
Yeah, so we got in. I did this. We processed it, and then NVIDIA called us for GDC 2017, saying we hear you're the best. And I'm just like,
Sure am.
thank you. Sure, I'll just like, yeah, my big team in my office will get straight onto it. And it's literally just like literally me
in
my bedroom. And so,
One man band.
But I no, in all defense, I brought on a new guy called Tim as an intern to help out. And so me and him just hammered it.
So in all fairness, he had an intern, but he still achieved.
I had to train him at the same time, but I literally had to train him while we're doing it.
So you grabbed this whole beach.
Yeah,
right?
and we produced an experience within 2 weeks, and we also built volumetric video RGBD technology using Kinects, and used all my temporal noise reduction techniques and all that I'd learned in prior years, because I did video editing and flew drones and all this crazy shit as well. So like, if I was to list all the different things that I've like jumped on over the years, most of them being extremely big fails and resource constraint, but still somehow doing it. All these prior skills we're able to use on this stuff. So within 2.5 weeks, we have a beautiful Maori lady singing the Kalinga, which is like the calling song, extremely haunting and melancholy. We have this po that was scanned. My friend Wee Cookie made this 80-foot high po that he made himself, and we then placed it.
Po?
It's like a big stick.
like a totem.
Totem pole.
Okay.
Totem
like a
pole.
totem
Yeah.
Okay, like a big totem pole. Okay,
Yeah.
just being.
So
clear.
they scanned this pole.
I mean, that in itself was hilarious. So
Amazing.
Yeah, but how we scanned it, because it wasn't there, it was next to the airport, so we couldn't use the drones to scan it, so we had to go on an 80-foot scissor lift in high winds, and this scissor lift was sticking, and me and Wee Cookie, poor old Wee Cookie is like about to cry, and I'm getting terrified because it would keep on getting stuck, and the winds would pick up, and we're like 80 feet high going like this. And we're like, oh my God, we're going to fucking die. So it's like, everything for this project was just like one big near-death experience after another. And there was no budget. It was just, we just did this on request of NVIDIA. And then, 2.5 weeks later, NVIDIA's showing at GDC. It's like their highlight fucking piece. I'm like, cool. And
Did they pay you for that?
I didn't want them to because it was just to be clear, this was a Māori experience, and mana is, you do not want it related in any way to cash. Mana is a very sacred word in our culture.
Interesting.
And so
you
can't really
which culture?
Can't really explain mana. Mana is like, I am the land, I am the people. I am.
It comes from the earth. It's natural.
Exactly.
Let me paint a scene, because I saw, he showed this to me. So I came actually, I think, in this exact room.
Really?
And he had the Vive set up. And he was it's this beach in New Zealand, okay, and you put the Vive, you got the 6DoF full room tracking.
Yeah.
And I was a bit skeptical. I think it's okay to say that. You know?
I think everyone was.
Right? And so
who is this Tigerian?
Right, like
weirdo?
What am I about to see? So I go and I put this headset on, right? And I actually have Snapchat spectacles footage of me doing this with him, so we'll bring it in. But so you're on a beach in New Zealand, and there's a giant totem pole that has to be, I don't know, 20
it's
feet
80
tall,
feet. It's 80 feet high.
80 feet
35
high,
meters.
On the edge of a beach, okay?
Yeah.
There's a woman in the corner who is volumetric video.
Using RGBD technology.
Okay, so she's got like a kind of like a hood on or of sorts.
She's a traditional face moko tattoo. I might have mispronounced that word. I'm not. I love Māori culture. I'm not particularly good at pronouncing it. But it's
amazing. And so what I did was I used this Vive, and then I got close. They have these rocks that are large, and they're shimmering in the sunlight, right?
Yeah.
And so
dynamic lighting.
Exactly. He goes to explain to me. He goes, well, we could change the lighting on that.
Wait, so like depending on where you are in the scene, the reflection will change?
Look, it's real life, guys.
This is why I can't keep stressing. You're on a real beach.
When I have clients come to me and they're like, hey, explain to me this VR thing that you do. I've got this space I want to capture and I want to put in the VR.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, look, get off the phone, go walk around your space and then come back to me. And they'll do it. I'm like, how was that? And they're like, I don't understand. I said, that's actual reality. So it's literally, we're capturing the fundamentals of what makes reality look real.
Yeah.
And so, that's where the deep PBR comes in, which is huge. So in the past, we've been kind of faking it using all sorts of different methods and what I refer to as a hybrid lighting system. So you're still stuck with some baked elements. But this has literally now got to the point that none of it happens anymore.
That's amazing.
Well, so here is the eerie thing about it all, right? So I looked at all these reflections. I'm looking out the water.
The water's
shimmer.
cool.
Water is really hard to achieve, by the way.
And is this video playing, or is this like
the water's using shaders? It's Unreal Engine. It's literally a game engine.
It's a gaming engine, but you're walking around like you're walking back in reality. It's the weirdest thing to explain, but it doesn't feel like a game. It feels like you're inside of a video.
Why do we not have a demo of this right now?
We do. I've got it on my laptop just in there. I've got Nefertari's tomb.
We're going to bring it in.
Yeah.
But wait, so here's the catch even beyond that, right? So the other part that was mind-blowing is he says the woman, the totem pole, those were never there at that beach.
All separate, yeah.
What?
They were never there.
Oh.
So we're able to reposition, we're able to superimpose.
One was volumetric?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
The pole was volumetric?
Well, the pole was photogrammetry.
Talk about deep fakes and like recreating situations. The moon landing did happen, you guys.
Yeah.
You heard it here first.
And so I've seen like a music video that you've done, I think.
Oh, that was years ago. So we definitely did the first 6 Degrees of Freedom music video in VR, but it got like 20 views on YouTube, and we were paid like $4,000.
Which is a damn shame. We're gonna
4,000 New Zealand.
No,
so
we're gonna blow that shit.
2.5 US were paid to do that.
You got to see this shit for yourself, guys.
Yeah. But every drop of money that we've got from the small number of clients that we've had in the past, it's just gone straight back into just equipment and funding. And this is why we love NVIDIA. And, I mean, if it wasn't for Epic Games, I mean, the thing that happened with NVIDIA was great, but it's not the thing that actually saved the company and saved me.
Yeah.
It was the fact that Epic Games, Dana Corley, lovely lady, they just dropped us 40K. I don't know what the translation is for that. with no NDA,
bank,
nothing. They just said,
Seed money.
They were just like, what's your bank account number? And that was it. And so I mean, honestly, man,
money.
I was pretty much giving up at that point, like on multiple things. I didn't. So I thought, fuck it, I'm just going to get a ticket to America. And that's when we met.
Yes.
So it's literally, I'd never left the fucking country.
Why did you end up at Upload?
I've traveled
Why did you end up at Upload?
So sorry, Will. I do apologize about this. So I've been emailing Will and Taylor and all the other guys trying to get some press, just trying to get any kind of article out there. Like we really struggle with actually being known.
You've got an article though.
Well, we've got one now.
Humble brag though. What kind of articles you?
It's no big deal.
You
But what
got a
was
little
it?
bit of coverage.
Yeah.
Come on now.
I've had a few honorable mentions in Forbes these days. And,
They write about everybody.
Yeah, I mean,
Anybody,
Charlie Fink and me are going to be on a panel at South by Southwest.
Runner up at Forbes,
next year.
This guy's super.
Redshift was great. The article that Autodesk did was absolutely hilarious. Slightly more hilarious because we don't actually use any of their photogrammetry software. But they wrote this amazing feature article for us, and I'm like,
Actually,
this is awkward. I mean,
let's set the record straight.
We had a pirated version of Maya running on our machine up until very recently. So it's kind of like, but thanks for the free press. Could you give us a copy of a Maya license?
This guy needs whatever he needs. Look, he started off with some Microsoft Connects, and guys, for the kids out there, you have to understand that this revolution of scanning things into a reality that you can remember again.
This is just the beginning. I mean,
this
it goes
is a Microsoft
so far.
Connect that has came out years ago that you used to play games with.
It took us a few weeks to work it out, and when I say us, I mean me.
Him and his
and my imaginary
AI, Jarvis, or what is your AI's name again?
Oh, Brian.
Brian.
Yeah.
Brian.
Well, going back to the music, when I was writing the music, I would actually compartmentalize all the different musicians in the band in my head, so they'd all have their different stylistics and traits and qualities. And so I'd actually refer to them as different band members.
So how many instruments can you play, or even if they're virtual synths?
We're doing orchestral composition, drums, and the whole time the music is very similar to the visual and the VR, because I was trying to make something real out of something that wasn't. And so, the humanization elements that I'd add to all these instruments, was off the chart. I mean, that's why it even stands up today, like 18 years later. I mean, this is from like 98 to like 2008. It still stands strong.
Wow. I love that there's a lot of creatives getting into technology.
Yeah.
So many sound
cool.
engineers, man. Like, honestly, our first question, like half the time when we're hiring someone is, have you been a sound engineer in the past? If you have, you've got the job. Like, literally. But that's when we can actually hire people. But you know what I'm saying? Like, there's definitely been a strange...
Send your resume now.
Yeah.
There's been a strange push. There's definitely been that element going on. So
the next experience that I saw you put out, and just because I'm keeping my eye out, so after I saw this Maya experience here, I had a lot of questions. We hung out. We hit a bar. I'll be vague about it.
Maybe don't go into the details. Not important.
It was. We had a rock star night, and
definitely.
And so. And what ends up happening is later on, I'm watching. He goes back to New Zealand, and he's still putting out some projects. And I saw this home that had art.
Yes.
Talk about that a bit.
The homestead. Now, once again, it was another R&D project. We've never actually been able to. We've released demos that people can download, but disclaimer: it's buggy as hell and slow and not optimized. So every project we did, we're learning how to do things better. We're treating each project like an R&D project. Even our clients' projects, we're very clear with them that we're going to break shit while doing this, but you're going to have the cutting edge. We're using your money for R&D. We're not hang out on yachts or anything.
Right. For sure. Yeah.
And so, that's why every project, that's why Nefertari ends up being a groundbreaker, but we'll get into that in a second. But
when you love your gear, you spend the money on the gear.
Exactly. So the homestead was approximately 15 billion points. All the paintings are actual paintings that you go up and you can see the oil leaving the canvas, how it would in real life.
You can see the depth.
It's like walking on Mars. That's the way I describe it. So it's
the painting itself.
The details.
You can go into that painting that you can make that painting a horizontal plane, and it's like walking around mountains.
That's so
Like
cool.
you know, yeah.
So you could walk on the painting.
So we have demos
and make
where
it
we have demos where I just flatten the painting so it's like tabletop flat.
Yeah.
And I just scale its size to the size of a stadium.
Wow.
And I'm just teleporting around this painting, and everything's still sharp.
That is
the
so
fibers in the
cool.
cloth are literally like, you know, proper fibers in cloth, and the oils that are coming off the painting.
You could
I
almost
like
say it's like a
mountains.
digital acid trip.
Oh my God.
You could
Yeah.
almost
Yeah.
say that.
When can we experience this?
Well, I mean, the download's
wanna-
been available for years. It's just slow and buggy. We didn't have the means or budget to redo it.
What would you need to make it happen? Exactly?
Well, we want someone like the Smithsonian, or I mean, so we saw this other art project people were comparing us with, where someone had scanned a whole bunch of Dutch artists. And this is, I'm going to get to this point straight off the bat. There is good money going to shit companies that are producing shit product
because they have a better marketing team.
That they have a marketing team. I am the marketing fucking team, and so
And the creator.
and so
and
it drives us nuts. So we saw this Dutch project, and I think HTC, like, I don't know, something like $1 million for this Dutch project of these artworks, right? And they're going on about how it's photogrammetry and all that. We jump in. They're on planes. It's just a high res Google picture on a friggin' planar polygon of 2 polygons. There's no displacement. There's no roughness. There's nothing. It's just a high resolution picture
Lame.
with a basic gloss map.
right.
And the guy,
Basic, guys.
And so I'm
Basic
thinking,
bitches.
what? There's a few reasons this really pisses me off. One, I'm Dutch. Okay.
You're Dutch.
Two, I've been
So
running.
am I,
I've been
actually, yeah.
running to HTC and others with the Homestead, which is the art experience that you're talking about, for a good year and a half. And for some reason, these other companies that, they're kind of established companies, I get it, but they're established. It's not actually good being established because you're using old pipeline. And so, the likes of Weta and others, I love Weta. I'm from Wellington. They're from Wellington. Peter Jackson is a hero in our country, but they are using a 20-year-old pipeline. And so they fix problems by hiring hundreds of people where because we're doing it smarter, not harder, we're using one person and deep learning, or one person and super sampling, or you see what I'm saying? We're actually building the automation pipeline as we go.
That's really good.
And we're setting it to a level of standard that where benchmark is so high. So I even remember we coming to San Francisco a year and a half ago, and I'm at this conference, and this is the first night I've been here. And there's a Facebook guy and a YouTube guy and all that, and they're going on about, VR is good and all that, but we're years away before we get, something that looks like actual reality. And,
you're like,
I'm just like, guys,
got it
none of
now.
VR is over there, and they wouldn't even jump on and have a
Right
look.
here.
It's almost like if they
Hello.
just block their ears. I don't know if we're just too ahead, or if there's actually a reason that there's some. I'm not gonna say suppression.
I mean,
but-
Somebody give this guy a couple million
Yeah,
bucks, because we've
yeah.
been like duct taping together
And feel free to
scraps
leave,
and making world changing.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, this guy's ready to go. Why isn't anyone jumping on this?
We
you know
don't
what I mean?
we don't know. We know we're popular in the trenches. We know everyone
Where
knows
are
the work.
you?
We get it, but for some reason, I think it's because of us being in New Zealand, which is odd. Come on, guys! Like, people invest in Weta.
It's
A lot of technology. You eat our steaks. You happily pay for them. You buy all our
beef,
you
great
buy all
beef.
our properties. I mean, seriously, our rent has gone up so high because of the rest of the world.
The Sauvignon
yeah.
Blanc is
Yeah.
my favorite.
Yes, we make
From New
fine
Zealand,
wine.
Marlboro.
But yeah, I mean, like, so the first real gig we actually, at this point, up until Homestead and everything else, we hadn't actually really got paid for anything. It was all just personal passion projects. I'm just like literally raising my daughter, taking her to school and back every day, using the doll to basically do what I do.
Yeah.
wow.
And our first actual real gig was after that American trip. After Epic Games gave us some money,
Epic Games.
meeting the guys at Curiosity Stream, Experience VR, and being asked to be sent to Egypt to go scan Nefertiti's tomb. So my first real...
Slow that down.
Yeah, say that
Slow
again.
that
Slowly, yeah.
down.
So
you went
then
to
what happened?
Egypt
Yeah. So-
to scan the pyramids.
Yeah, well, not so much the pyramids.
Or
Just the most prestigious tomb that is the most prestigious tomb in modern history.
The name being
Not
slowly.
just the pyramids, the most prestigious. To be
Yeah,
clear.
and just to be clear, there were a few other tombs we scanned as well, which I can't mention under legal lawsuits. So
Wow, that's exciting.
Yeah, but
I mean,
some amazing stuff. A lot of gold.
a lot of
A lot of gold.
Oh
Let's
my
just say a
God.
lot of gold.
Don't
Yeah,
tell
yeah,
anybody.
yeah,
yeah.
Um,
It's a secret inside secret place where gold may be found.
Gold
Yeah, well, I mean,
A
you
lot
know,
of gold.
it's under lock and key.
A lot of gold assets, yeah.
But okay, so the stuff you can talk about.
Nefertari, I can absolutely talk about.
Which is on
Nefertari.
Steam
It's on
right now.
Steam, on Steam.
ready to
And,
download.
Dude, seriously, July and August, it was the 11th highest rating Steam app, not Steam VR app, Steam app based on user review. So
What?
literally, not VR, actual Steam. 11th, it's rated at 98.8% right now.
Ready to go, you guys. I mean,
yeah.
try this out.
And you know what?
Learn
The
about
funny thing is,
ancient
the funny
Egypt.
thing is, it's actually terrible compared to our internal build.
This guy, you see?
What?
You see? It's the humble brag. You see?
Yeah, you know, what's on Steam is shit, but what we got behind, behind the curtain.
It's good. I mean, don't get me wrong. It is good. It's just not the best. So after that,
Well, let's talk about this. You know, world's first.
Yeah.
Before you shoot it
Before
down.
I shoot it down. But yeah,
That's called ambition, or I'm not sure what we call that, but yeah, go ahead.
so with Nefertari, it had so many new technologies in it in itself, and so we didn't even know what we were doing. So there's this classic story, and I can tell this now.
yes,
because
set the scene. So how do you get to Egypt?
Yeah, these guys.
I've never been to
Yeah,
Egypt.
so I'm flying for 3 days straight, 36 hours to get there. One trip was 17.5 hours on the A380, which was beautiful, by the way. Only plane I feel comfortable in.
The which one?
The A380, the big one, the
Okay,
really
okay.
big one. So we get there. So we got 6 days in Egypt. We're scanning. It's like we're on the Nile River in the penthouse apartment type thing, and
What?
it's just.
Did you photogrammetrize that?
No. I scanned a hell of a lot of stuff over those 8 days. But yeah, we get there, and like, you know, it's like there's like 20 people on the team, but there's just myself down in the actual tomb by itself. And there's like 5 guys with AK-47s at the top, making sure that I'm not sure if they're there to like protect the tomb or protect us. I still don't really
my
know.
God.
But there's like there's
Military people.
no, just to be clear, this is not a racist term. I call them white cops and black cops. So there's guys with white uniforms who are the white cops,
Yeah.
and you got these guys in the black uniform, which are like Secret Service.
Okay.
And so that was
which one?
well, we had 5 white and 1 black. It was insane.
So a little secret service, and you know,
Yeah.
sprinkle it in
Jeez.
there.
Yeah.
So you got the AK-47s. What are the
Yeah.
other guys doing outside?
I don't know.
the tomb?
People were just bringing me coffee when I needed it and stuff like that. It was really cool.
got any processing team?
No,
or-
It's just me, my laptop, and my
Send
phone.
them in.
So what
They
did
literally, I literally single-handedly went down with my Pelican case.
What did it feel
Simon
like?
to the tomb.
Did it?
Yeah,
Was there
describe
electric
this.
air? I mean, did you feel a different sort of energy there?
Like,
I mean,
was Aleister Crowley talk to
It was
you?
it was crazy. I thought at one point I actually had got cursed because I thought a piece of paint particle got up my nose and I got this weird rash the day before I was leaving. And
What? Oh,
yeah, I had
no.
sinus difficulties for about 6 months afterwards. So the air was really thick. Oh, yeah.
Huh.
Like it was
was fucking
it was
hot,
actually
right?
a difficult trip. That and the jet lag. When I got home, I actually thought I was going to die from exhaustion.
I bet.
But yeah, the amazing thing was back to the technology that we used there. So it was the
Right.
first environment that had ever been de-lit in the world of photogrammetry. First environment ever de-lit.
Explain.
And-
What does that mean?
Well, it
de-lit?
just means
There's
we can
no light.
We can relight it exactly how we want. So the tomb has these horrible halogen lights in there, which suck, right? And we didn't
right.
want that. So we had to kind of overpower the halogen lights with our own lighting
Oh.
method. We had to keep it even throughout the whole entire tomb. But the funny thing is I had only hypothesized this. And so I'm being flown to Egypt.
Wing it.
I'm flying to Egypt. I run down to the first chamber I can see to the right, take a bunch of photos, run back up. They're like, "What are you doing? Why aren't you down there?" I'm just like, "Give me a second, guys. Just give me a second." Running for the processing, throwing into capturing reality. Oh, what are we going to get? What are we going to get? Oh, thank God it works. Okay, well, I'm going to get back to work now. And so literally, I could have tested it in an alleyway like days before, but I was so confident of the hypothesis that I did it on location. So
living on the edge.
yeah.
But it worked. It's like Indiana Jones, the photogrammetric Indiana
Yeah,
Jones.
the
The
version-
Andy Warhol of
Punk rock
meets
version.
Indiana Jones. Yeah.
What?
Oh,
Okay,
yeah,
so you go
yeah.
down in these tombs, and so you said no one's been there before?
Well,
Or-
no, they locked it off for like 20, 30 years.
Oh, okay.
And if
So-
you're a tourist, you can be in there for like 2 minutes.
It was a little stale in there then.
Yeah.
Was
Not-
it scary?
yeah.
Were you scared?
No. I mean, it was a bit nerve-wracking, like having to visually map it out and not break anything, because like that's, obviously that's the other thing, being legally blind and doing all the shit at the same time is also the other, like,
So-
what the
So wait, so the legally
I'm
blind
like
guy-
terrified that I'm gonna like lean on something or stand on some 5,000-year-old shoes of a certain character, and other things. And so, you're working with these artifacts, and so you just don't want anyone to move it because you're mapping out very carefully in your head what you have, what vision you do have to work out where it is. And so that's where the photogrammetry comes natural for me.
Sure.
As I'm mapping out all my environments as I go.
Anyways,
all the time.
Just in general.
Yeah.
Just on a daily basis because for some people who are just tuning in and don't know too much about the legally blind and how is it that you could create these amazing things that like I have LASIK and I'm looking at this stuff and I'm thinking this is a real rock, real beach, all that. Meanwhile, this guy's performing magic over here.
Well, I mean, like tell us a little bit about how you actually, see.
It's described as a 90s handycam, a cheap 90s handycam.
So you've got color.
The exposure is an issue. Like if you point a 90s handycam at a window, you can't see anything inside the house. Okay. It's got like a limited, limited contrast ratio.
So you're always watching an MTV music video.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's great.
I love it. It walks so cool.
I've got the stride. They say that like, you've got the stride. It's like I'm not actually striding. I'm literally using my feet to map out my environment as I'm walking. So my feet are doing half the singing.
You didn't see his rock star jean jacket. It's a little hot in here, but yeah, this guy's always looking like 100%.
You should see my Dylan shades I have, like the completely matted out, diffused like Dylan shades, and people are like, how can you see through those? I'm like, well, it doesn't really matter.
So why do you think it gives you this? Do you think what is it that you see?
Attention to detail would be the argument here. Like it's like I get to see the bigger picture, the overall color of something. And so that's why I love fine arts and this is why I love color. So if you're talking about shades of color, I've actually got the eyes of a pilot, so I can see distinguishing between two different like shades of red, better than most people.
Oh, do you have like an extra cone, or what's the genetic difference there?
I don't know. Something about a recessive gene thing. I remember in fifth form school science, I actually failed science by 1% because they had a question about albinism. And
failing science,
like,
but
what were the chance if you have two parents with a recessive gene? What were the chance that child would be albino? I just wrote because shit happens. But then they gave me passionate consideration for the question, and then they actually ended up passing the science paper. So. But that's a little side note. It's never been a problem for me.
Clearly not. Right?
I have a brother and sister who are albino, and they were albino before I was.
Are they doing volumetric?
No, they're doing great shit in their own field. Like, don't get me wrong, but my brother became a bodybuilder, and so I didn't have any problems at school. And both our parents were the local veterinarians. So there's this thing like, if my brother doesn't beat you up, my parents will kill your cat.
So you've always had a bodyguard.
So
is what you're saying.
I was strangely popular at school.
Pyramids. He's got the guys with the AKs. He's got his brother. You know what I mean? Watch out, guys. It's just, don't just walk up, okay?
Yeah. It's fun. It's been interesting.
So tell us more about this scan and this experience. I mean, this is like
in Nefertari.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean it's just amazing. It's actually arguably better in VR than it is in real life because you can get right up and close and actually look at every little grain. I'm being serious, guys. I'm talking about like it's down to the sub-millimeter in grain level. You'll go cross-eyed before you can see any kind of drop in level of detail. And we've done that even better now using super sample deep learning. That's the other reason why it's better. The deep learning, we're able to train our own images with the images we took. So we're actually customizing our training data sets specific to the task. So we have this joke that we don't have celebrities' eyes or faces in our photo because all the data sets out there are like celebrity photo data sets and all this kind of shit. So it's actually really, that helps a lot. But the other cool stuff is where there was wooden floors and no smoking signs and all that kind of jazz, we're able to do in-painting, which is basically Photoshop content-aware fill.
Sure.
Where we're literally able to circle around things that we don't want and go, computer, what do you think should be there?
Get it. And it's even better.
95% of the time, it gets it spot on, and it's indistinguishable to people who jump in that tomb now. They don't even notice the seams. It's seamless. Like both in terms of graphics.
It's like walking through an actual spot, but this you're saying that this
you can walk through this, by the way. So for the guys who don't know, this is like a full room tracking. Like if you were to set up a room, a space that you could walk around, you could walk around the actual pyramids and see what he's talking about right now, but for yourself. And you can crawl on the ground and look in the details of the corners.
Well, look, since we're on this topic, because I mean, this is a little bit of a tangent, so we can go back to what we were talking about earlier. But I mean, we're talking about
that's right,
the pyramids.
Pause. Get another drink.
We can get another drink in a minute. But I mean, actually, why don't we save this conversation for after that.
No, I agree.
Because it's so. I mean,
all right, we're gonna take a commercial.
Can we take a pause? Yeah.
Let's take a
I'm
break.
gonna get 2 minutes of air as well because I'm literally gonna play it very soon.
Cool.
This podcast is brought to you by photogrammetry and deep learning.
Yeah.
Because photogrammetry is always better. With
I'm terrified that this is live right now.
No, it's not.
No,
It's totally
it's
not.
not.
Okay.
I'm just. I took drama classes and broadcasts, and I just like fucking wing it.
Oh my God,
All right,
yes.
guys, we're gonna go smoke a joint. We'll be back.
Okay.
Bye.
In a bit.
We've got a number of techniques of extrapolating amazing detail. We're venturing into some deep learning stuff. What it really boils down to is just brute force. You get the photographs, get them as clean as possible, you get them as perfect as possible. We've been able to do super sampling techniques on those photographs because we have multiple photographs, and then we're able to approach that super sampling into a generation of point cloud. Yeah, no, it's like being on Mars. I mean, you can literally teleport yourself into this painting. A single painting will have like 1.5 billion points. We got shimmer and roughness. So we're not just extrapolating the fundamentals. Most people think a painting and they just think a picture, and they'll just go onto Google Images and download a high-res picture. Oh, there we go, that's art. The meaning of art. No, it's not, unless you've literally got every single fiber and every single paint stroke in there. So you need to know what's shiny and what's rough and what's matte and what's not. We've got so good at extrapolating the material properties of these paintings using that we can take away the color of the painting. And you can see details in that painting that you can't see with the naked eye. So we're actually extrapolating information higher than what we can perceive in reality. So that's pretty exciting.
Welcome back, guys, to the Digital Asset. We just came back from our
going
break.
on?
We're gonna have another beer here.
We're back here with Simon, the photogrammetry rock star.
They call me the VR rock star. That's
Okay,
like
that's
literally
what
the
we
name
call
I've been
you now.
hearing quite a lot of recently.
All right,
which
so
is-
VR rock star.
And I did not brand that. But the funny thing is, I was actually going to call my company Star VR.
Right.
Except
really?
for the
but then
headset.
Star VR came out with the name, but that was our original name.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
All
because
right.
Star, AR, VR,
little
ST.
nugget of information.
It was also
there.
kind of, then that translated to the VR rock star. And it was just this kind of theme that we were thinking about 4.5 years ago. But yeah, Star VR. already had the
So
name.
what did you end up calling it though?
Well, we're reality virtual. And I just
Reality
do it to
virtual,
like
okay.
confuse dyslexic people.
Yeah,
Because everyone's like,
they get it
because
right.
everyone,
Yeah.
Some good
everyone-
Google
yeah.
SEO though. I bet.
Everyone goes to you, oh, so you're virtual reality. I'm like, yes.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, we'll go with that.
So I think where we left off is we were in the pyramids.
Yeah.
And let's jump back into it. Just to give you a quick recap, Simon flew to Egypt to scan the pyramids in a incredibly realistic virtual reality.
Technically, Nefertari's tomb in the Valley of the Kings and the Valley of the Queens. Pyramids are actually quite a while away, but it's still Egypt, so it's still cool.
There you
and
go.
also Luxor Museum, we scanned a whole bunch of artifacts. So that was also cool.
You heard it from the horse's mouth. There you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah. We called it Bob's tomb for the whole week because I'm terrible with words. Like literally, I describe English as my second language because abstract thought is actually my first language.
Well,
and so
Coming in clear to me.
yeah, like names and things are really difficult for me. I couldn't actually speak up until the age of 7. They thought I was autistic, and I'm definitely on the spectrum. But I basically learned how to socialize.
Yeah.
Wait a second. So like Einstein didn't
Prodigy,
wait until he waited until he was
Beethoven.
4 to talk, but
Yeah.
you wait until you're 7. So you're just like
Yeah,
on no
yeah.
whole
I
nother
mean, even
level.
when I was 13, like my girlfriend was Kayi Benny, and I loved her heaps, and her blue eyes and her blonde hair, and the Kalya Yayo. Like literally, that's how I spoke. And I was an artist, and all the kids would mock me because they're like, "What color are you using?" Because they knew I'd say yayo or bew.
Oh.
Yeah, so I couldn't say blue, and then I couldn't say yellow. I still can't say th, so I say the, not va. You know,
Oh, you say it like a V.
yeah. So that was really struggling because, you know, and so I went to radio school and I ended up doing like voice work and documentary work for National Radio, which is the English-speaking radio station. And I did that just to make my mum happy and proud. So it's literally everything has been a struggle.
The moral of the story is don't put anything in this guy's way. Because he's going to break through whatever fucking obstacle it is and bulldoze that shit and then be the world's first something. You know?
I dream this stuff. Like, literally, you don't want to be me. It's like, I think as Elon Musk described it, it's like a constant explosion.
In your head.
And like, it really is a thing. So it's, you know, it's anxiety.
If you're wondering what it feels like to be inspired.
Yeah.
Right.
Just,
the anxious artist, right?
Yeah.
You know, the creative.
I wouldn't wish it on anyone, honestly. But you get your results.
If you want to enjoy the fruits of those labor, you go to Steam and you can download it today.
The future now.
Shameless plug. But to get back to what we were talking before, I mean, we were getting into how you got the pyramids. You went into
they send you in by yourself.
Yep. So solo guy. It was awesome.
Nefertari.
Flown to Dubai. Everyone thought I was that Tiberian guy that got melted by gold. So I had a bunch of girls running around the airport asking for my autograph.
Really?
Yeah. Like seriously. Like it was
like they thought you were from Game of Thrones.
Yeah. They thought I was they thought I was the evil rapey brother from Game of Thrones, which is really weird. Like why?
You got casted in gold. Yeah.
I want to sleep with. I'm like, you're fucked up. Your parents really did a number on you. But no. So that's kind of worked. It was really weird because I only went with the natural hair color, you know, in the last few years. Actually, after the fire, everyone thinks that my hair went white from stress from the fire.
Oh my god, from the fire! This is it's like a comic book.
But it wasn't the case.
Like Storm. It was from X-Men.
It was literally just you go for reinventions in your life where you reinvent yourself every few years, and this was just one of those.
Man, I can't wait to see what the next metamorphosis is.
God, don't just keep me away from LA, guys. It's like I'm a kid. I
might morph into something else.
That's trouble.
Candy
That's
store.
trouble.
Yeah.
So we're
Nefertari.
We're walking down the pyramids. You got guys with guns outside.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so we kind of captured the beginning of that, but like, look, we're capturing the pyramids, but it's not insignificant that you're capturing the pyramids in 3D detail, and so let's talk more about the pyramids and what they were for.
Look, let's talk about preservation.
Okay.
So that's the important thing here. I mean, this was because I personally lost something. So you don't know what you've lost. You don't know what you've lost until you've truly lost it, right? Mm-hmm. And so being in the photogrammetry community, I had a lot of friends who have worked with. I've had a lot of friends that work with.
Goodness.
So luckily we've got microphones, but
they're close mics, right?
They're
like
close mics.
Hypercardioid?
They're cardioid. Yeah. So we'll just
Okay.
bring that other mic over here. So it's
There's a blockchain event going on right now.
We should just turn that one
guys.
off.
Yeah.
Turn it off completely.
Yeah,
Can you? Is it off button? Or unplug it?
Yeah, there is actually. I think that's 3. Can you tap it? Okay, it's 2. All right, thanks.
Okay. We're good.
Cool.
Okay, so as long as we keep close, we're gonna be fine. Let's talk about cultural preservation. The whole idea, you don't know what you've lost until you've truly lost it, and so that was my reason for getting into this on a personal level. But then, getting into the community and realizing other people around the world are scanning statues and world wonders before ISIS came in and blew them all up and all that kind of jazz, you realize the importance.
For sure.
But the problem is that. There's a few companies out there I'm a bit belligerent to right now, but will work with certain companies, and I'm not going to name names, but you could search it on Google. If you get what I'm saying.
Just look online.
Yeah, just go on Google.
Brace yourself.
Just go on Google and search Google on Google. Where these parties are encapsulating the data and saying that they're doing it under a public trust, and they're not giving you the
right. They're going to keep it, and
they're giving you the JPEGs. They're not
can.
giving you the raw fucking data, which is what you actually need to do a proper job of this.
Right.
That's the new gold.
But we'll work with them, and we'll give them the pipeline they need to process the stuff properly. So there's a lot of parties out there who are doing it, but they're doing it in a half-assed way. And there's other parties that are actually being quite disingenuous about what they're actually doing under the name of cultural preservation and public trust. We want to integrate a blockchain artist rights management system that actually means that every person who takes a photograph is branded and tagged on that photograph and have it as a royalty-based methodology. Because as a musician, man, I had a lot of fucking radio play and I never got paid a fucking cent for my work, right? And that pisses me off. Yeah. And I don't want to see photographers running around the world doing that. But what everyone needs a Kodak. And so what Reality Virtual and DPBR are really trying to do is be the Kodak, be the automated system that gathers all those photographs and create digital assets out of them for the likes of universities, studios, and the rest of you. So imagine you're a studio and you need to do a scene in the Colosseum or some great place in Spain or Mexico City or whatnot, right? The future of VFX and film is using these virtual spaces and actually running it in real time. That's the other crazy thing. The real-time ray trace shit that NVIDIA is doing with the RTX architecture means we can do real-time VFX to quality of
that's
film.
That's profound, right?
Yeah.
We were just talking about this, or Kent Bai, I think, was talking about this. He's got a VR, Voices of VR podcast, which is really great.
Yeah, I've been trying to get on his thing forever. He's been a bit of a snob.
What?
But I finally tracked him down and cornered him and said, we got to do this.
At OC5? At OC5?
No, I didn't see him at OC5. He doesn't live in like one of the major cities. He's kind of like...
He's in Portland.
Yeah, he's in Portland. I mean, I'm not saying Portland's...
Not the major city.
You know what I mean.
But Portland, I think,
Portland's
I'm not sure,
nice.
but
All right, well, Voices of VR, the digital acid recommends that you
have
check
a
out
conversation
this
with Simon Che de
rock
Boer.
star and stop,
Well,
you know what I mean?
Stop blacklisting me, guys.
I'm sure he'd be happy to.
I'm here.
He does them all day.
This guy
But he was at OC5. I saw him interviewing some
I
people.
was sleeping.
I would have loved to have seen him. Just to be fair, the guy did get back to me. He's been super busy. But, I've been thinking that, doing a show on his would make a lot of sense. So, getting back to it.
Right.
Artist right management, we don't hold the data in a blockchain. We use traditional servers via, essentially mesh data storages, floating torrent type stuff. So you've got multiple backups of the same stuff everywhere. But you actually put the seed or the key in the blockchain. So the key is a way of protecting the data. And under that data management, the user can define what use cases they want those photographs to actually be used for. So there's certain companies that have came to New Zealand and scanned mid-eyes. And mid-eyes are the Maori homes, right? Yeah. And they've scanned mid-eyes and, they're giving the data away willy-nilly, which I think is actually kind of silly. You shouldn't give it willy-nilly. It needs to be protected so you don't put a stripper pole in there. You know what I mean? Like, seriously.
Later on.
And so you're saying that blockchain could prevent from happening.
Mismanagement and also pay the artist who's running around actually digitizing it. And so when you give an incentive to thousands of people to use their phones and their cameras to go around the world, you could back up the planet, which is literally my methodology. This is my legacy. Is to back up the planet.
So
that's simple.
So are you gonna follow the sort of Creative Commons sort of example of being able to like, okay, just identify what your
it's Creative Commons, but it's not exactly, because Creative Commons is a little too open. We're more, think of us as more of an archives public trust.
Okay.
Meaning that if these other companies that I've worked with, let's say for Nefertiti's Tomb, let's say they go bankrupt.
Right.
Which I'm not saying is likely.
Dramatic pause.
Dramatic pause. But it could happen. It could happen, right? And
never say never.
And then who has the photos? Because if you have to go read back into these spaces, that's degradation. Like these photos, because they're such a World Heritage asset, they should be at least in a seed vault, at least there for hundreds of years from now, in a safe means of backup.
Or like in a time capsule in space too, like a double backup, like a triple backup on Mars. Elon.
So I'm hoping that someone talks to Elon about this, because I know he would love that. I could never pronounce.
When you finish your digital acid trip, make sure that you check out Simon, because he is going to scan and back up the world.
Yeah.
And so if I think it's pretty important, so we can kind of put it in a SpaceX.
Have it spinning around the sun for 1 billion years. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Send it out there with
just don't put it in the sun.
Put it in the trunk of the Starman.
Space is dangerous, though. I mean, it could be like the whole could like appear out of nowhere.
Throw some Bowie on.
Space sand.
Put it in the fucking trunk.
Yeah.
And send it off there in case Martians need to revisit.
Yeah. And this is important stuff. I mean,
on Earth.
Yeah. So, you've got that component. The artist gets paid. Studios and everyone else gets these amazing assets. Deep learning processes allow the stuff to be quickly processed and turned into things that are usable and actionable. We obviously, as a Kodak company, like we really say we are the new Kodak. And when I say Kodak, I mean the film company. People are like, oh, but
I should have worn my Kodak jacket today.
People are like, well, didn't they go bust? And I'm like, yeah, but they lasted 100 fucking years.
Yeah.
Come on,
and they're legendary in the capture.
But it's what they did. They allowed everyone. They allowed.
This is a Kodak moment.
This is Kodak a moment.
Jesus,
Absolutely.
you have like Nike Just Do It and a Kodak moment. I can't even tell you how many places there are that have the wooden sign that says Kodak moment.
Yeah, well, there you go.
So
there you go.
Slice were some of the best of the world,
Yeah.
right? They innovated so many things to capture visual environments.
Yeah, but they allowed people
can't
to
be
use their
forgotten.
own cameras. That was the thing. They just became the best at developing the film
So why are you
and mass
using that
producing
analogy?
it. Because
why are you calling them
that,
Kodak?
That's it. They became really good at doing one thing and doing one thing good, which was getting the data and processing in such a way that it came out of the best color, the best quality, the best representation of reality.
Yeah.
So
And
send your 3D scans from your
send
iPhone
your photographs
XS,
to
which
Reality
has a
Virtual.
depth sensor
Yeah.
on the back.
Yeah.
Scan the shit out of
iPhone
everything.
10.
Well, we don't need that
and then
depth
send it to Kodak over here.
We don't need that depth sensor anymore. That's what I'm trying to say, though. With the deep
Not
PBR, deep physical-based rendering, we're extrapolating 3D data from single photographs on every level. Like, so we don't even need depth sensors. We could set up a volumetric rig with a few phone cameras now and essentially do 3D extrapolation of the data. Like, you got to understand how big this is. We're talking about tens of thousands of people losing their jobs in the VFX industry, which I'm really sorry. I do apologize. I really am sorry. But it's a shit job, and you know.
Well, no,
seriously. Hear
What
me out
about
here.
sensor makers, though? What about
means
depth
they have to
sensor
spend
makers?
their time on creative
billions of dollars in depth
trying to
sensors.
draw out light from images is what you've got 100 people slaving over. And so I've got my phone right here. I've got my MVP. I can do it in seconds.
You can do photogrammetric
I can do not photogrammetry, real world extrapolation of the fundamentals of a scene in an image. So you get your roughness map, you get your metallic, you get your displacement, you get your normals, you get your perfect delit diffuse.
So have you heard of 6D AI? They're doing computer vision app where it just captures your environment and creates a live mesh of everything.
That's cool.
Yeah, no, that's cool. But what you're doing,
It's
I got no bugs on me.
It's like yeah, right. It's like I've seen so much of this, and they all come down to the same problem. They're not So we follow the Tesla model where we build the high end car first, and we use that technology to trickle it down to the
guys.
The
let me tell you how much this guy has evolved. When he says that he's R&D as he goes, the last time when I was on my Rockstar night with him, I was trying to figure out, what are the secrets, right? And he said to me, RGBD, which is depth, right?
Yeah.
And now
I don't need the D anymore.
A year and a half.
I mean, I've got the D, but I don't need the D.
The secret? You don't need the D anymore.
You don't need the D.
You wanted the D.
That's what she said.
Now you don't even need the D anymore. You thought you needed the D.
Yeah, I ain't got the D.
And all the investors that got the D and invested in the D,
then
watch out.
Yeah.
Watch out.
Yeah.
Because
watch
he's saying
people
depth sensors in which they're starting to put them on phones. It's starting to be the new tech.
Yeah.
He's saying not necessary, guys.
So the plan is to basically get everybody's ownership around what they create.
Yeah.
that
Accountability
they
for
have
them,
ownership
like
over
just
whatever they
protecting
make.
the artist, but also it's a win-win for everyone.
You know what? Creatives always get fucked.
Yeah, I would know.
The whole music
I would
industry
know.
went down.
Yeah.
The whole music industry got fucked. You make this beautiful music, and then everybody just like streams it on YouTube or whatever the shit.
Yeah.
And blockchain, what you're saying is blockchain.
So I don't believe in the blockchain floating the data itself because it's too inefficient and it's too slow, in my opinion, to actually have it used.
But that's what smart contracts is going to solve for.
Having proper ledgers,
Smart ledgers.
smart ledgers. So that's
smart
where,
contracts, but like distributed ledgers.
distributed ledgers.
Yeah, distributed ledgers. That's all we need. We just need a whole bunch of security keys kept in a blockchain with the basic IFIF, camera data information. Except this camera data information includes what use cases this can be used for. And so if you can't go off and you're legally bound to use it for a certain thing. And if you by the original artist dictating that. But the thing is, you can have multiple artists doing a certain location.
Right.
Some artists might relax versus other artists. And so the system can essentially grab from multiple parties of multiple photographs, multiple individuals, and essentially bundle into one thing that then reality virtual or deep PBR, whoever the fuck we are, actual reality, which is what the actual reality is the processing arm, basically. Reality virtual we're keeping as like just a little indie boutique production company in New Zealand that happens to hold a whole bunch of fucking IP. Deep PBR is another company just registered in New Zealand, which is going to hold its own individual IP. I'm basically breaking it up into a multitude of different verticals, holding different IP, retaining it all in New Zealand because fucking you try to get us.
Yeah, try to come.
Like, you can swim the ocean, man. The ocean got sharks, man. So good luck
we got
getting
sharks
there.
out here in San Francisco,
and we have
right over there by the fire.
and we have an
Fire Lawn
amazing progressive prime minister right now. And so we've been actually scanning the Treaty of Waitangi, which is our constitution, and the House of Parliament, and a whole bunch of other stuff in New Zealand. So we're we were struggling, man, but we're super tight with our government right now. And our government, dude, guys, what happened to Kim.com?
Hey.
He's fine.
Yeah.
He
He's
was
just driving across green lawns,
and he's not even a Kiwi.
Hundreds of miles.
He's a German.
Isn't he Estonian or something?
No, he's a German who came to New Zealand, and like New Zealand was like, fuck you, motion picture industry.
All right, well, we got Simon.com here.
Simon says.com. Yeah. So anyways,
Oh my God,
somebody
Simon
just
says-
bought that domain. Fuck, I can just hear the GoDaddy checkout. Right.
Yeah, I'm just happy we got actual reality. I mean, I was high as a kite on a beach.
Actual reality. You need to team up with the guy who did the video.
Well, it's self promotion for us. That's the beautiful
If
thing.
anything, it's like he might have been experiencing one of your experiences, and everybody's laughing because it looks like he's just looking at real reality, but in fact, he was in Simon's scan the whole time.
Wait.
Well, I mean, okay,
simulation, right?
You say
Elon Musk's
you say
like worst
Simon,
nightmare.
You said Simon Says, which I thought was pretty funny because it reminds me of this little bit of a gag that people have been having, where they're convinced that I'm the creator of the Oasis. Because if you watch
Holiday.
the Holiday video where Holiday's talking, saying, if I'm dead now, I'm
Watch Ready Player One, the virtual reality movie.
Have a look at what is on.
Who's the legend in it?
Have a look at what is on his jacket. It has a.
Who's the guy who built everything?
He has a Simon Says badge on his shirt.
Okay, don't miss it.
Yeah.
Simon says.
And so everyone's running to
Look
go,
for it. It's an Easter egg.
Holiday, your fucking holiday, the hair, the badge. And I'm just like, I'm wondering if someone...
It's a conspiracy.
Well, I mean...
a tinfoil hat.
I don't know if it's a conspiracy, man. I'm pretty just... Look, it's people make films and people know the work that we've done, and these people who make films... I'm just,
they do their research
one of our mates
man.
One of our mates probably just... One of my friends who I don't know, but like...
Ernest Klein.
Well, think of it this way.
This guy.
Think of it this way.
Ernest Klein? That's right.
The badge for Oculus Connect, right? Like, Oculus has never given us anything. Like, they haven't even reached out to us.
Oculus.
Like, I get an Oculus 5.
We're changing this.
Free badge.
We've got to change this.
But yeah, I mean, the badge thing was weird. Like, someone gifted it, don't know who. I asked Palmer Lucky, he had me on Facebook a few months ago, and I was like, can you get me one? He's like, no, sorry. And I'm like, oh, that's okay, I understand.
But then something arrived in the mail.
It arrives in the mail.
Yeah.
But somehow,
I think it's similar.
I saw this guy walking down the middle of the Oculus demo room floor. Mm-hmm. And I said, I got to get you on the very first podcast of the Digital Acid to talk about, because here's the thing. So I'm glad you brought in Kodak, okay?
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. Virtual reality is displays. It's the equivalent to the TV. But what I'm interested in is the camera. And what you're doing is the capturing of reality. Yeah. And that conversation hasn't been talked about a lot.
People are putting way too much money into hardware, not enough into content. And the thing is, if we can find a way to process content much more rapidly and faster and accurately and do good extrapolation versus anyone else, then we can offer quick, successive content to the market of a quality that is far higher than what we've been seeing today. The biggest problem with VR right now is that the content sucks. There's a whole bunch of middlemen jumping in between these projects. We haven't been given a good budget yet on any level.
Well, I mean, a lot of people are putting their money on AR, and that's kind of the thing, right?
It's all the friggin' same. It doesn't matter if it's AR, VR,
No, you're
MR.
right.
It doesn't matter.
But that's the thing, is that
people
AR
saying
kind of
XR. I'm like,
subsumes.
fuck off XR. I don't care. It's just
Fuck off, XR. Really, seriously?
guys,
Go
you're
fuck
right.
yourself.
Just keep it
the
VR.
thing is,
You're
what we
confusing me,
do
right?
can be downscaled to whatever thing you want.
Let's just make it simple. Keep it simple,
Keep
stupid.
it simple,
Yeah,
stupid.
keep it simple, stupid. Simon
We're-
says keep it simple, stupid.
We're agnostic on what our content is used for. It can be used for VFX, it can be used for VR, AR, any of those things. It can be used on a bloody desktop. It can be used as a wallpaper on
Let's
your
just call
screen.
it alternate reality.
Yeah.
Okay,
How about
but
that?
okay, so
Sorry,
what
I get angry about that.
What are some companies that have gotten invested in that are kind of in this volumetric photogrammetry thing? Like, isn't there like a company like Litro, for example?
No, so I'm not going to say anything bad about Litro because Litro recently worked with my good friend Peter Martin.
Oh, not at all. I was not implying.
They did what?
That. I'm
No,
just saying,
no,
what
who-
are the other companies in this space?
But I'll be
of
honest
capture?
about the technology. So I really like that Litro is doing some really cool stuff.
Right.
You know, very recently did this thing with Peter Martin and Justin Timberlake, which was really cool. And I love sleeping on
Justin
Peter
Timberlake
Martin.
volumetric.
I love sleeping on Peter Martin's couch. He has a house where a tree is growing through it. It's amazing.
Wait, who does?
Oh, my friend Peter Martin in the Hollywood Hills. He's a
Peter Martin in the Hollywood Hills.
So I've been hanging out, like,
Shout
literally.
out Peter
I
Martin
do.
in
I'm like
Hollywood Hills.
I'm like,
Seriously,
I
guys.
go to LA and I'm just like Pacific Palisades,
I know. It's always a
I don't
crazy
pay. I don't pay
adventure
for
in
a
LA,
day.
isn't it?
I didn't
One
pay
house
for
to
a cent
another.
of accommodation for like a month because I'm just sleeping on people's couches.
And it's so
beautiful
appropriate
rooms.
because
Yeah.
in LA, you know, you got the whole music industry scene, and this guy's just couch surfing doing this volumetric photogrammetry shit. No big deal, guys.
This is film, guys, but this is film 2.0.
Yeah.
This is the
we're-
evolution
we're
of
in
the camera.
We're in the
That's actually why-
we're in the 1920s right
Absolutely.
now.
That's
and
why
we're just learning how to sync audio with moving pictures.
Exactly. I mean, that's why I
Yeah.
got into VR. I was like, look, I wanted to be a filmmaker when I was a kid, but you know what's important? What's important is storytelling in the newest medium possible.
Absolutely.
So what we're talking about here is actually capturing reality and then being able to leave it forever to be re-experienced
And
by
remixed
future generations.
by
Exactly.
anybody.
And there you have the holodeck. I mean, this is you're talking about like we can talk about this a bit later if we want to drag it out a bit longer. But you can always
Go.
edit. You can edit. You can edit.
We
you
can
edit.
keep on going.
Yeah, you can jump it back and forth. I got it.
Let's do it.
So, you know, if you watch an episode of Star Trek Next Generation, you know, they go to the holodeck and they want to go to a 1920s like experience of something, right?
Right.
So where we're getting with this is because we've got all this information and layers to build up, we can essentially recreate realities that we've lost already using old data sets that are not complete. So we're doing Christchurch Cathedral that got destroyed in the 2011 earthquake of New Zealand.
You got
And
it what?
Christchurch Cathedral, biggest earthquake in New Zealand, wiped out 70% of second largest city,
And
Christchurch.
you can somehow
in 2011.
recreate this?
So we have put up the idea that basically anyone who has wedding photos, anything, feed us everything they have of Christchurch Cathedral.
Oh, and you can recreate a scene based off
We're
of
recreating
old
the scenes.
photos.
Yeah, using those photos.
Oh
doing
my
doing one
God.
better.
Give us your family photos. You can do reverse engineering.
But doing one better,
Yeah.
we use
Oh
those same photos. We use those same photos to train the neural network to enhance those same photos.
What? So you're doing what Facebook was trying to do?
What they
like
announced
last
on
year.
stage.
Yeah,
like
it's not
last
even
year.
possible for them yet, or supposedly, but they're finding a way to work it in. You've already done it.
Well, we're working on it. I mean, look, it's the
You're working.
I always
Okay,
talk about
cool.
this is a terrible thing of mine. I always talk about things as if I've already done it.
Right, but the near
But the thing is,
future.
then I do it. That's the weird thing. So I'm like, I believe in mental projection.
Yeah. Beyond that, he has the intention to do it.
Yeah, my
When
intention
he puts his
becomes
mind
the
to it,
means. Yeah,
You put a fucking
Yeah.
anything in the way. Doesn't matter. I don't have sight.
you
I'm gonna fucking make the most realistic shit you ever seen. I can't talk. I'm gonna fucking go to fucking.
gonna learn how to
I'm gonna
talk.
go to the radio, and I'm gonna fucking make.
gonna
music.
become a singer and
band
release 3
members. I'm
albums.
gonna make a fucking whole band by myself. God damn it.
Yeah.
MacGyver.
I love MacGyver. I was a huge fan.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
that was one of my first memories.
MacGyver and Knight Rider.
Yeah.
MacGyver and Knight Rider were my things, man.
Yeah.
I'm a fucking 80s child.
But now
was the
I
line.
see him like on the floor eating the cheeseburger drunk, and I just can't. I can't put myself
Well,
back
that was
in Knight Rider.
Knight Rider. Yeah.
well,
But
we're all
MacGyver
human,
inspired us all.
honestly,
Yeah.
and that's something I want to really acknowledge is that we are all human. People put us on this crazy pedestal, and it's silly because we all have faults.
Well, yeah.
As they say,
and that's why
guys,
collaboration
guys,
is.
what you got to realize, though, and there's one thing I've learned in life, is I have the inability to understand what authority is, and so a class system for me, I don't get swayed by, I guess you would say, important people.
Sure.
Because at the end of the day, as everyone knows, the Queen's shits.
The Queen.
Even the
shit.
Queen.
Even the Queen's shits.
Even the Queen has diarrhea, and that's the truth.
Yeah.
The people that you respect, they shit themselves.
Yeah.
It happens.
That's the message of tonight. you
That's
guys.
Yeah.
if
There's
you
occasionally-
kids,
there's
if
occasionally
you walk
follow
away
through.
with any lesson tonight, is
Yeah.
remember that everyone has shit themselves at least once.
Yeah.
Including
yeah.
the Queen.
Yeah. So yeah.
On that note,
On that note, I don't really know what the segue is right now.
No. Well, I mean,
I was going to talk about our blue sky thing.
blue
but,
sky.
like,
Okay, so here's the
Or
thing.
we can happily, I can
What
happily
is
bag on a
this
few companies
all
if you want.
leading up to? Why? Okay, we're capturing
Yeah.
we're capturing people as they are, like in volumetric.
Places, spaces, faces.
You're capturing people, and oh, actually, let's talk about this for a quick second because I think it's fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
So as we're capturing people, you can reanimate people hypothetically
Mm-hmm.
with AI and stuff, but you're doing these realistic captures of, let's say Morgan Freeman, okay?
Yeah.
And-
So we can build on that, which is really interesting. So there's this hypothesis that I have. I haven't done it yet, but essentially it's style transfer of a human.
A style transfer of
a human. So basically, we could film an actor under an RGBD situation. Not that we need the D anymore, but would do
Yeah.
RGBD anyway.
Don't need the D.
It's always better to have ground truths rather than not ground truths.
I mean, it's good to have the D.
Yeah, it's
once
good to
in a
have the
while.
D once
That's
in a while,
what
but
she
you
said,
don't
yeah.
necessarily always need the D.
Okay.
The D is complimentary.
Right.
Right. The D is always welcome, but not always
we're trying
necessary.
to we're
See,
trying to
this is
capture
why I'm going to get
environments here.
sued in America, guys. Honestly. Like, I know.
Luckily, you have
We're
New
talking about
Zealand to
depth,
go back to.
Luckily,
guys.
I live in New
Get your
Zealand.
mind
Yeah.
out of the gutter. The word is depth.
Yeah, depth,
Yeah.
guys.
As in depth sensors, Microsoft Connect, whatever D you're thinking about, that's not what we're talking about. All
Yeah,
right, guys? Jeez.
Okay,
We're
anyways,
trying to have a good
off
time.
the subject
the
of
idea
RGBD.
is essentially you film an artist doing a thing,
D?
doing all that kind of stuff, doing a whole bunch of poses and movements for about 10, 20 minutes. And because we have, what's it called, pose estimation and all that kind of stuff, which is a term for knowing how someone's holding themselves,
Right.
you can essentially get someone else in the scene and have them do a skit or whatever, and you actually recreate the original actor doing the poses
Right.
of your
Yeah.
your,
So
in,
it's,
your intern can be Madonna or anyone for the day.
oh, wow.
Wait.
So we're able to.
Sorry.
We're able to. If someone's time, okay, so someone's time is money, right? So you want to, shoot a whole entire movie.
We just need you
with
for
someone.
15
We just
minutes.
need you for 15 minutes. You
We'll
jump
capture
in,
you,
we'll
and then
capture
we
you
have
from
you
every angle
for eternity.
and then we will buy the rights to use you, on a minute by minute basis.
There's a movie, I believe, called The Senator of the Congress. Sorry. And it's about an actress giving away
right. Yeah.
her eternal rights to her likeness. She's captured in a volumetric studio. I'm pretty sure.
It's not. Is it Glenn Close? It's not Glenn Close. It's
It's
it's a girl from the woman from House of Cards.
Love House of Cards.
She's also the
Well,
Princess
first two
Bride.
seasons.
The Princess Bride. That should be her first credit. She was the original Princess Bride, and she plays this character in a movie where she gets captured. Harvey Keitel basically convinces her to capture herself in 3D. Yes, walk her through it so that she can make enough money to take care of her kids. Because she's in the story, she's a washed-up actress, and it's very.
Wow.
kind of close up to her story before House of Cards.
God, I want to see this movie now.
So,
Sounds
Yeah,
awesome.
it's so good.
The actress
And
that we're
John
talking
Hamm,
about is
John Hamm plays a character in it too, by the way.
is the gorgeous Robin Wright.
Robin Wright. That's
So
her
let's
name,
get
yeah.
it right. Okay?
Robin Wright. Get it right.
Get it right. So check it out. That film. But so what we're talking about is scanning in people,
Yeah.
actors, actresses.
Yep.
And this is already happening in LA,
Yep.
by the way.
Yep.
There
Yep.
are Intel capture
Yeah.
studios.
Yeah, well, I mean,
right.
look, so
Well, and
we-
here
we-
too in
we're-
San Francisco, obviously.
We're super tight with Metaverse. We love those guys.
Right.
I mean, sorry, Metastage, not Metaverse. I
Metastage,
don't know.
okay.
Metaverse is Alan's.
Alan
thing,
Smithison.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we
Shout out Alan. Out there in,
when am I going to come to Vancouver and scan those weed plants of yours? So, you know, like, yeah.
Shit.
Oh,
Me and Alan
yeah.
have been meaning to meet up. So now that I know he's got the
Yeah,
beat
no,
plans,
we're on,
I am
we're
on my
dude,
way.
We're on speed dial, and we talk.
You know,
I mean, on
Yeah.
LinkedIn,
Yeah.
we're friendly. And I definitely need to go
So,
out there.
there's a lot
the
of-
weed plants just
I
sealed
mean, there's
the
a
deal.
lot of
I'm getting on the plane
crossover
tonight.
Yeah.
with the weed plant
Yeah.
thing because
British,
I mean,
British
Yeah.
Columbia.
we were, I was talking to Ed Rosenthal. He wanted to do some video around it. Ed Rosenthal, for those of you who don't know, is like a guru when it comes to growing weed. But
Right.
But he was like, VR photogrammetry. I don't know. I need some video. But imagine going into like a master grower's
Yeah.
garden.
Yeah, it would be pretty
and
cool.
hear what they have to say.
Yeah.
About how to grow things,
Where
you
do
know?
I start, man? Like, so,
Limitless.
I'll tell you. I mean, I can kind of talk about this, but kind of not. So,
Let's tell us.
Do your best.
Just say what you can. and not what you
Vince Bragg, amazing guy, beautiful
Bragg.
African American dude, phenomenal man of story and character. Had a really big run with his life story, and he talks about this in the media. So I think I can talk about it. He was dealing $30 million worth of coke and all that kind of jazz, and got sentenced to like 20 years. And he basically rebuilt himself in jail for 5 years, got out early. He's now a leading figure in basically rehabilitation of incarcerated individuals. And yeah, like we're hanging out at not the Hollywood Hills, but further out, Malibu or whatever the fuck it's
Undisclosed
called.
location.
Yeah, undisclosed location.
Secret.
And we're just talking about how important it is to capture environments of old school New York and all that, and have these people talk about their touch with death and their life with crime, and how they rehabilitated themselves to essentially like get out of it. I mean, I can relate. I mean, I came from a small town, Levin, New Zealand, which has the second highest crime rate in our country. Okay. But I hanged out with all the gang members.
Right.
I was that little weird white kid that was
Well, you were
hanging out.
saying earlier
that was
that-
hanging out with the Mungle Mob and Highway 61s and all these other cats, and didn't think twice about it.
Yeah.
I've always been what's the word, agnostic, even when it comes to like the company I keep,
Right.
and religious concepts and all the rest of it. But
diverse company.
that's where it's important. So the way we see this, the philanthropic, I can never pronounce that word.
Philanthropic,
Philanthropic.
Yeah, you got it.
I've been trying to learn that for like 3 weeks now. Philanthropic.
Well,
The
it paid
idea
off.
is that we encourage parties who have means of wealth and income to essentially be the parties that fund the exploration of Antarctica and get their names in the history books of time, which is essentially what we're doing right now. These slice of life experiences, these capturing of people's stories, these are the history books of time 50 years from now.
Yeah.
And so
you had a shitty little book on your desk. And now schools and institutions are investing in getting VR gear.
But
a la Ready Player One.
We let the people who are well off essentially pay for the documentation of these stories because they
Like
want
history-
to keep their legacy.
History has already been said by the highest class, or the winners write history, right? And
Yeah,
now it's
yeah.
our chance to actually write our own
Yeah.
history.
But on top of that, the artists do get paid,
Yeah,
which is an important
exactly.
thing. Kodak will do really well, which is, I won't lie, the bite of capitalism has kind of sucked me in just a tad. The more I spend in America,
Well, it's inevitable.
Dude,
I mean,
I'm a
if you
Bernie.
can't beat 'em, you gotta
I'm
join
a
'em,
Bernie
right?
socialist, okay, and I'm proud of it. Like I'm heavily progressive and one hell of an anarchist and an activist, to be perfectly
Definitely
honest.
an anarchist.
Yeah,
That's,
and so, but in saying that, there's a way to get a job done that needs to be done, and it's not going to be just funded by just the fact that it should be funded, then you just got to do what you got to do.
Right.
Well, you're in the right space for this. So
we just need money for all the toys, all the depth sensors or not, all the AI or not, all the cloud storage
we've got
or
to do
not.
the research for you.
Depending on when you watch this, because everything that we say a year from now, Simon will have already moved on from.
Right.
So, we're explaining this really incredible, difficult technique to achieve that people don't even know what he's achieving yet. We have to explain photogrammetry, we have to explain volumetric still.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I try and explain the deep PBR things, and people keep thinking I'm just talking about photogrammetry. I'm like, no, I've moved on.
Well, okay.
When you say PBR, I'm thinking about like a beer.
A beer. I know everyone's when I talked about deep PBR on Facebook, everyone sent me the pictures of that beer. I didn't realize that was a thing. So I'm like, okay, deep physics-based rendering, guys, not deep beer.
I need so we're gonna in post we'll Photoshop
photo beer on
a beer. With
beer,
the proper label on it.
Yeah, deep PBR. I don't know.
Deep PBR.
If you type into Google Images, see what you guys get. I don't want to know.
So what did you say again? Post what? Say it again.
Sorry, I don't know if he got that. That was so wrong.
No, we got it.
Okay, yeah.
It's on. Yeah, we got it.
Yeah. Cut that.
Yep, we've got
that's the shit that's gonna get me in trouble.
It's all good.
Yeah.
But I mean, look, we should probably take another break in a little bit.
Yeah.
Right now, why don't we quickly go over what's possible once we get past this preliminary point?
Well, okay, so we were talking about the blue sky thing, right?
Yeah.
What are we doing? Why are we doing this?
I didn't quite finish that story, but in Star Trek Next Generation, they have the holodeck and they're doing 1920s San Francisco, and it's basically like, hey, computer, can I have a scene of a bar in 1920s San Francisco? And the computer's like,
hey, Brian.
Hey, Brian, exactly. And the computer's like, hey, we can do that 76% accurately based on the information that we have, and we'll fill in the gaps. And so that's what we're going to do. And so the concept is this: that we could take a single photograph of anything, and it creates a world from it.
Wow! And you can walk around
single photograph
because single photograph creates a world based on its contextual understanding of what it's seeing and all the other photographs that it's seen in the past with similarities and relations. I don't know if you ever saw. I was a big fan of oh my god, I've forgotten it. Red Dwarf.
Red Dwarf.
It was an English TV show. English TV series in the early 90s.
Check that out.
It was pre Deep Space Nine. I mean, pre Star Trek Next Generation. Really fucking cool. It was a comedy, a space comedy. But there's this one episode where they're able to teleport inside these photographs.
Yeah.
And they're calling it real life. And so the photograph they're able to just like. God. And so the thing is, once you get I mean, when we look at a photograph, we can imagine and dream what would be in there.
But that's
no different than what we're teaching the computers right now. Like literally, we're teaching the computers to dream.
Okay, so are we in a photograph right now?
No. Well, I mean, he's asking if we're already in a simulation.
I don't want to emphasize how much I am convinced that Elon Musk and others are correct that we are in a simulation.
You know what I think?
I absolutely, dude. I see live LED culling in my life. So I see objects pop up, thinking that I didn't look fast enough, and so it then appears later like the game engine was delayed.
The way I think of it is that he brought it up because it's propaganda. Honestly, they want us to think that it's already possible, and therefore, if we do it, you might as well accept it because it's already been done.
No. Think about the trail of movies.
There's nothing wrong with
exclusive guys, 1970s and 1980s about virtual reality, and that's kind of when we wake up our brains and shit, and then all of a sudden we re-achieve it again. And like, imagine it's the Tower of Babel, kind of.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a dream inside a dream inside a dream, and like, so I wrote a song about this back in like 99. It was called Corrupt and Immoral, and it's like, I had a dream inside a dream inside a dream. So, I mean, it was played on the radio. So I also did Falling Towers 2 months before Falling Towers happened, but we won't get into that.
Okay.
Like, literally, it was a song called Falling Towers. It was like, it's insane. I'm a fucking weird bastard. But
we love it, though.
But, honestly, like, because we were in the Fight Club movement at the time, like, Fight Club was a big thing.
David Fincher, man.
Everyone, dude. Capitalism was about to be on the way out.
And Chuck Palahniuk.
And then that shit happened, which is horrible shit, don't get me wrong, but capitalism was on the way out.
When?
Like 2000, 2001. You had popular films like Fight Club talking about everything being reset to zero.
Interesting.
And then look at you had Metal Gear Solid with their game,
Metal Gear Solid.
and that
Gear
all Snake, yeah, all that
Yeah,
shit, like
that
the Shell
was-
Corporation, the whole entire lot. It was in the popular
That's
ethos.
true.
It was in the popular ethos, and it got wiped the fuck out because of the event. And then we got the Patriot Act, and we got a whole bunch of like,
Right.
we lost 15 years of
Net
progressive
neutrality's gone.
socialism, basically. You know?
As we speak, net neutrality does not exist.
Yeah. So yeah. Where do we start on how many reasons why my next plane is going to explode?
Yeah, yeah. Well,
No, I'm serious.
like,
I
I mean,
I
not to-
scare myself.
Play it again for the microphone.
That was
What?
cool.
What are you talking about? What?
Play it again for the microphone.
Play what?
The noise.
What noise?
Oh yeah, I love it. I just got it. Oh my god. Flashback, man. Oh, I've been snapped. Oh no.
Wait,
I had to do
Oh,
it.
that's too good.
You know, I had Snake. Where are you?
Oh, that's too good. That's too good. Because I heard it and I so recognized it, but I wasn't really like.
Oh man, yeah, I love that game. That's one of
okay.
the few games that I played as a child. You know,
Yeah, no, it was good.
It blew my mind at the time, and that's maybe what's causing this conversation right now. Like these great
Early day
designers and thinkers.
influences, man. Like
Pop
seriously.
culture.
Pop
Well,
culture.
for me, it was Amiga, the computer. And
Yeah.
my parents to buy that machine when I was 7 years old in
Good
the late
fucking
80s.
job, right?
Yeah.
If it wasn't for that computer that was known for essentially music and graphics and all that stuff. So, you know, I first started writing music like when I was 9 on ST Tracker.
The computer for creatives.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, it was the thing that allowed me to understand how to not use one specific thing, but use everything.
So then after that, I think there's another computer company that took this approach. I would say in the early beginning with the Hello, which is
Yeah.
addressing the creatives and the editors, which
Hello
is
World.
Apple,
Yeah, Hello World. Right?
right?
Yeah,
but
yeah.
but you have your
I actually like Hello World, the blue
drawing,
book as well.
right?
It's pretty awesome.
But then I think there's another which they're all musicians and all the head advisors are you know.
Are you talking about what I think you're talking about?
I'm
right
talking
now?
about Magic Leap. and
Magic
those
Leap.
guys
Oh.
are ex music and creatives. Are they making the computer for the creatives? I feel
Well,
like
you
that's
fucking
the
hope so for
message.
$2.5 billion, which is what I'm going to say. But honestly, I don't know why people feel like they need to reinvent the wheel. And this is the thing that really angers me.
Reinvent the wheel?
Well, everyone's like, we need to make everything. So what we do is we essentially make relationships with people,
Right.
And use. If they've got something like, you know, we work with Unreal Engine because we love Unreal Engine, and they saved me from bankruptcy and basically taking my life.
Thank you,
Like
Unreal.
literally, like I can't mean that enough. I was literally at my wit's end. I was isolated in New Zealand. No one understands me. I'm stuck on a doll. And if it wasn't for them just fucking throwing some fucking love,
Well, that's great.
I would have just given up.
And there's more to come. I mean, honestly,
Yeah.
like this
Yeah.
this is just the beginning. I mean, to
Yeah.
think that this is not yet public knowledge, like what's possible nowadays. You
Yeah,
know what I
right.
mean?
But-
like,
yeah.
we're trying to bring the message out there, but also just to know that there is a future that we all know exists.
Yeah.
And they're
Yeah,
doing,
well, we've seen it.
whoever they are doing what they can to sort of take what's left before
Yeah.
things totally get
But
disrupted.
that's the thing. Like,
you know?
don't make a whole. If anyone else uses the term platform to me, I'm going to smack them in the face. Honestly, like
I'm so glad I didn't say
Don't
that
walk up to
earlier.
him and say platform.
we
all right?
already
Don't
have.
do it.
Like, look, we already have Steam. I mean, like, so, like, I mean, and these guys, some of these guys are my sponsors, and so it's really hard for me to talk about this. But you know, I'm gonna keep it straight. Like, you know, I love these guys, but don't, you know, like you know, HTC made their own Vive port, and you know, other parties are talking about making their own platform. I'm like, guys, you don't need platforms. You need fucking content.
Yeah.
And like whoever ends up, like, you can go direct to market, like how Epic have done with, you know, I should know the name of the company, you know, not the game, the big game.
Which
Epic
game?
went direct with their main title.
But what?
Oh, you're
what-
talking about
what's a game?
Fortnite?
Fortnite, yeah.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
you know, so that's
game.
great.
And look,
So,
everybody knows Fortnite.
game.
V game. So that's great. They went direct to market, and you can do that. But just use the platforms that are already good and supported. Focus on.
Don't reinvent the wheel.
Who cares if you lose
Use existing.
30% of your thing?
Right.
Stop with the walled garden. Is
Yeah,
what you're
exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
open it
Because
up.
and then-
Open it up. The
and then-
future is
and then-
WebXR.
and then,
The
yeah,
future is-
no, you're fucking right on the nail there. So my good friend Liam, love you, buddy, Liam, in Los Angeles, probably the only person I've met who actually made me feel mentally challenged on this planet for at least 6 months.
And that's
No
got-
offense, guys, you guys are all very bright, but like this guy scared me. Like I was like, Fuck, I felt like
guys are
sick burn right there. I like
literally
that.
felt like the
guy right
dumbest
here.
person in the room when I was around that guy,
man.
and I fucking loved it. It is humbling and it's nice.
Well, we got to take
Yeah.
a trip out there. you know
Yeah.
what I
So
mean?
he's cool, and he's
Come on our podcast, because if
Dude,
you make this guy
Liam-
feel dumb,
yeah, Liam-
make me feel dumb.
No, Liam is insane. So he's got life scope and all this other crazy shit, where
Life
it's essentially it's like a data acquisition of your life and every detail from every network that you can imagine. It gives you a way of visualizing and knowing where you've been, what you've done.
That's
so why
fucking
we are talking is he wants to use our technology to essentially virtualize all these spaces. There's people we go to with their cameras and all that data that we can acquisition from and essentially recreate realities from past times from this point onwards, guys. So imagine 2018 becomes the year that we start backing up reality
Yeah.
on a daily basis.
Send it to
all right.
Kodak.
So this makes a case for collective memory, okay?
Yes,
This is a
yes.
super important
Yeah.
concept because
Yeah.
never before has it been possible.
I love how we
have
said we were going
a
to pause and
collective-
no, we just no, you continue. Go.
Right.
Go, but I need another beer. That's
Oh
fine.
yeah. Okay, so but anyways, collective memory is super important. Never before was it possible to capture history as it was visually, at least, and much more. I mean, biometric data.
Yeah, everything.
I mean, this is just the
everything.
beginning.
Heartbeats,
of,
fucking
of a crazy
who you hung out
future.
with,
So
what the temperature was that day. All these elements can be refed into an engine. at a
we're
later
talking
life.
about this so that
Yeah.
you guys know what to think, as in you can come to your own conclusions, but we're bringing this up because it's important to think about it, and if you don't, it might happen before you
Even
can.
more bizarre than that,
Yeah.
Simon can
If you-
capture a space
yeah.
and then relight it as nighttime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was
Yeah.
daytime. And then that distorts our actual memories of that space anyways.
Right.
But it's protected under the blockchain so people can't fuck with history.
Yeah.
And so history
Don't fuck
currently
with it.
is written by the people who won history.
Yeah, but this now
This new concept of history
Yeah.
recording essentially means that we've got a verifiable record of what actually happened.
right.
Which makes a world a hell of a lot. I mean, let's not even talk. Like I have a saying, it's hard to find a bigot who travels the world. So, like, that's I made it up like a month ago. I'm sticking with it. It's like one of my fucking things. You put on my fucking.
It's
face.
hard
Hard to
put it
find
on
a
your
bigot.
gravestone.
Hard to find a bigot who travels the
hard
world.
to find a bigot that travels
The world. So what I mean by that is like, look, if we start encapsulating these spaces and blah blah blah, people can't start jumping in. So I've been asked to go to Israel, I've been asked to go to Cape Town, I've been asked to go to all these like locations of religious sensitivity. I had a BBC guy ask me to go and scan like these caves in Iraq that an ISIS, prisoner of war had discovered, where they discovered a lost city underneath Iraq.
What? A lost city underneath
So I don't know. I'm pretty
Iraq?
sure that's public knowledge. So I think we can get away with saying it. But once again, I felt like saying, you realize I'm blind, right? Going to Iraq, oh shit, what's going on?
I mean, there's so much stuff that's underground right now,
Yeah.
and like archaeology is a big theme through what we're talking about right
Yeah.
now, even
Yeah.
though we haven't made it like explicit.
Yeah,
but
it is. It is. It's
but
cultural
archaeology is
preservation.
huge, and like
cultural
there's people flying through the air looking at these structures that we didn't know existed until now.
Yeah.
And now we have a multitude of ways to capture these environments with photogrammetry and so on. And so I can't wait to talk more about this.
Okay.
Let's take a
We're
break
wrapping
in a
up,
bit.
guys.
Yeah.
We're going for
We
beer.
are burning
We
up
are
the studio right
cooking.
now.
We are
The mic
cooking.
is on fire. We've got Simon Che de Boer.
De Boer.
De Boer.
It looks good on
And we are here, Sebastian from the Digital Acid. We've got Jesse Van Fleet. Bang, bang. And we are killing it out here day after OC5. And we are fucking making some shit happen today. So this is the capturing of the capture.
Yeah, there's so much more to talk about.
Actual reality in reality, which you experience in virtual reality.
We've got a lot more to say on the
Boom.
subject, so we'll do that soon.
Once we cool down.
Catch us in a bit.
All right.
Remember,
Cool bananas.
this podcast is brought to you by photogrammetry, and remember, it's always better with deep learning.
All right. Peace out.
It's kind of alarming when you go look at the New Zealand's like safety website because they're kind of like, I'm going to get kidnapped or something. So I've been wondering if I should get my hair cut or like grow a beard so I fit in a bit more. But no, look, it's been for a bit recently, and so I think it's good that we're doing what we're doing. Capturing the sites. I joked years ago about how we would go scan the pyramids in Egypt when I first got into this, and it ends up being literally our first gig. Incredibly unprepared, freaking out, hate traveling, hate flying, going solo, which is a little nerve-wrenching. I'm running on about 38 hours sleep, or lack of, so I'm just exhausted. Everyone here thinks I'm like a Tiberian. Yeah, that's probably why I haven't been sleeping much for the last few days. Getting a few hours a night, just nerves are shot. But if you're not nervous, then you're not challenging yourself. The only way you progress is by, I wouldn't say by fear, but progress by a sense of not quite, achieving to the level of standard that you believe you could achieve at. So, you overcompensate. Yeah, but it's a good thing. Well, I mean, it's like saying how's film or how's any kind of medium that comes about progression of technology. We won't really know what level of play it has until it has made itself indispensable. VR has the avenue to be far more compelling. I can tell you this, on traditional mediums, you can't experience on VR because of the empathy factor. Like, certain things are just too grueling, too intense, We have become detached from there'd be war-torn areas and all that. Like, if I was to throw you in VR into the streets of Aleppo, trust me, people would stop going to war.
Okay, welcome back, guys. We're bringing back Simon and Sebastian.
Like, is that me being an asshole?
No,
like,
you're
because I'm just like, you're beautiful. I mean, what do you want to do? I want to do you.
Ooh, okay.
I don't want to do Hotel California. I can't read the text, but I'll do you.
Welcome to Hotel California.
Alright, guys, okay. Everyone's going to know we've had a few beers. It's going to be those weird cutscenes.
And we're back.
And we're back.
We're back.
Okay.
We didn't smoke.
All right. I'm only 3 beers down and a little bit.
We're good. Hey, but you said New Zealand strong. You said you could drink all night.
Maybe I'm
getting fucked up on the digital acid
maybe
right
I'm
now.
pretending to be drunk.
I think you're tripped out by the digital acid a bit.
I'm just a bit overwhelmed. I
We
agree.
We trip,
Fuck,
We
what
take
a
trip.
conversation we had tonight.
My God,
Jesus.
man. I mean, this is the thing I miss in New Zealand. Everyone thinks I'm a fucking alien.
No. Fuck
And
that. We're the black sheep podcast. You know what I mean? Seriously, like I rarely feel comfortable.
Yeah.
But that's what we're here to do, is to ask the difficult questions, the things that might make you uncomfortable.
So difficult questions. Me and Sebastian here were talking about rants that might have been a good idea to have.
Yeah.
So, let's just be honest here.
What are we talking about here?
Let's be honest.
We are recording.
We are
we
recording.
are live. We're good.
But we're not live.
We're not live.
But we'll create the illusion
But
of
we
live
are
when we
in
put it
life,
up.
and we may be.
We're
I don't know if
recording
we're in one of
live.
these scans or not.
We
moment.
are live.
Did you scan this space and put me in it? Is that what happened?
Can we do that?
Because I remember.
Can we make that happen?
I think
Well, it's all
right.
right. It's just black textured thing.
it's
Yeah.
nothing. This is.
It's soundproof.
Yeah.
So
I
like,
mean, you
know-
get the phone details.
We
though.
should-
That's what's impressive.
We should go to Tank Hill sometime. It's a 270-degree view of San Francisco that's super unique. Most people don't ever get a chance to see it. I think we should capture that hill, which was an old Indian burial ground, by the way.
Right.
Here's the thing,
right under
guys.
Twin Peaks. Yeah, it's really
the
worth seeing.
possibilities are limitless.
No,
I would like to have one question for you.
Yeah.
And we've been pretty unscripted, but I think what I want to ask you is, for the future generations, for the children, for the people who don't have the opportunity, how can they participate in this revolution of what's going on and what you see being the future? How can they?
Well, I mean, they're already participating.
participate?
I mean, that's the thing. Like, you basically, we have 4 billion people with smartphones right now that have cameras that were better than anything we had as a digital camera 10 years ago.
There's about 7 billion humans on the planet.
7.4 billion humans.
To be specific.
And
Mark Zuckerberg wants to make 1 billion humans in VR.
So, but you have a few billion
Yeah.
people who already have devices in their pocket that are very capable of doing this, and you could be doing this without even realizing you're doing it. It's not like a chore.
Yeah.
It's like literally you're saying. So the beautiful thing about deep learning is that original data and or copyright is irrelevant. So I'm in this weird situation where, I can't, release Nefertari's data sets myself personally.
Yeah.
But what I can do is I can throw all that data into a deep learning algorithm, W-weighted GAN process. and then have a procedural texture generation of artifacts and tombs based on its understanding of what a tomb is. And so when you have a
Are we listening to
We're listening to blockchain karaoke right now. People are clearly fucked up.
I'm like deep about this.
These are guys, this is the Irish brand.
I'm hearing
this
Tommy.
is like the alternate realities.
Yeah.
I'm hearing zombie.
Zombie.
Is it zombie?
But
No,
here's the
it's
thing.
Tommy. It's Tommy, guys. It's not zombie. I always thought it was zombie as well.
But
It's Tommy.
the algorithms
Tommy?
in which scan for copyrighted material
so-
can't pick this up because this is an original cover.
Yeah. This is
and that's
me.
but that's
Catch that,
exactly,
YouTube.
dude. That's exactly the point.
Demonetize that face.
That's the point I'm making right now. So
That's
if
an
you
original.
if you have a child who looks at the world and looks at things and then decides to paint a picture of the things that child has seen, that you can't copyright. It can be
Right.
an extremely close
If it's your own
representation.
experience.
It might not be the ground truth, but it's a close representation. So as soon as you train a network on data and ask it to come up with its own hypothesis, all of a sudden it's irrelevant. And
then
that's the beautiful. That's the situation we're in. So
Here's what I'm really interested in.
Yeah.
Imagine people who are going to re-experience that same place for generations, forever. They can go back to these places.
The idea is this, man. I don't think we're quite grasping what we're talking about here. We're talking about the concept of a memory,
Memory.
which is literally what we're doing with these machines.
It was so subjective
We are
before, but
creating.
now
We
it's
are
becoming
creating.
objective almost.
We are creating memories from observation,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
means that legally the copyright is void. If you feed a child 1,000 pictures of Nefertari's tomb, and then recreate a concept of a memory of what it interpreted from that, all of a sudden you have something that they can't go, well, that's Nefertari's tomb. You can say, actually, no, it's not Nefertari's tomb. It's actually a memory of
Imagine-
someone walking around Nefertari's tomb and remembering what it was.
Yes.
And so that's where this gets exciting.
Right.
Is that we can have all the cell phones in the world right now essentially acquisitioning the data,
Right.
but none of it is actually technically original work.
Right.
It's a conceptual idea of what it thinks.
Right. And there's positive things that make that reality.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right?
So you see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
we void the copyright issue, which quite frankly has been void in my opinion for many decades.
And it's really become just so difficult with everything just amassing at this exponential
and you
rate.
know what?
How can you even?
And you know what? It's okay and it's well overdue. And thank fucking God. That's what I'm going to say, honestly. I'm not happy with the system that we live in. It's bullshit.
Absolutely. But you know what?
Yeah.
It's the future
creating
generations
new
that are going to fix this.
Yeah.
And that's why I want to speak to them because
Technically you are.
well, we are speaking to them.
No, but so you know how I tell you I think about things a year ahead as hypothesis and then actually implement? That's the thing. Quite frankly, you are. These are not conceptual
Design.
ideas of science fiction. These are things that are happening right now.
Design
they
and
just
execute.
they just haven't happened yet.
It's stranger than fiction.
Yeah, no shit.
Because
I
it's-
love that film, by the way.
It's actual reality.
With Will Ferrell.
It's actual reality.
Nicole
yeah.
Kidman. I'm just making sure. Yeah. That's so funny. Yeah.
So we're gonna have to try and wrap up this because we got karaoke in another room.
Jeez, I'm hearing
I know. This is the end of the night.
in the
I know.
background. This is how it goes down in the blockchain AI VR MR world. Emerging tech bizarro blockchain podcast here.
Imagine
What is
the end
going
of
on?
this. Anyways, but let's wrap this up.
Yeah, I mean, there's not really much else to say apart from the fact that we are watching a huge amount of resource go to essentially a bunch of companies throwing out resources that are actually going to nothing.
Yeah.
Right.
And
we've got
everything
an
we have
actual-
done, this whole entire conversation we've had, all the technologies I hold in my pocket right now, and I have as my sleeve as IP Holdings, a company in New Zealand, we did on nothing more than over $100,000 over the last 2 years. So just think about that. Just think about
to be
just
clear,
think about
look,
that for a second.
if you
While
need something to
paying,
invest in, this
Yeah.
would be it.
I'm sick of I'm watching people having sushi dinners where they spend more, or hosting elaborate parties about their startup where they're spending more on their elaborate. Okay,
Than
so
the
I was at this party
actual
recently in Hollywood
thing
Hills.
itself.
Seriously,
Yeah.
I have to say this. I was at this party at Hollywood Hills where the party itself the cost of the party and hosting, they had CEOs flying in from Cisco. You know, I met Kim, who's the CTO of Epic Games. I met the guy from Fortnite. Like, it was a great party, don't get me wrong. But that party, that one party for that startup, spent more on that party.
Which would have been worth more than
what
the actual
we have
funding
spent on R&D for 2017. That is fucked up.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
It's
okay,
true.
that's
It's
just what I'm
criminal.
saying.
We've got to do something about that.
Yeah,
Support the creators.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I'm sure you have a Patreon or something.
I tried.
Oh my God. Can we do a GoFundMe?
Can we do a GoFundMe for Simon here?
Can we do a Kickstarter?
It's so important. We've got to do this for
I had a voice-oriented
Simon.
music streaming service that was designed around natural language and geolocation and movement and all this stuff. I did in 2011. It was my thesis. For fuck's sake, a 32,000 word thesis.
This is where it all
and
began.
I have all these amazing videos I did where I have black hair and I'm talking about it. And I did an Indiegogo campaign in 2011, and my mum gave me $100. That's
That was sort of first funding.
Do you hear Johnny Cash in the background ring of fire? Like, are you fucking kidding me right now? What is happening? What a great...
The ring of fire.
Anyhow, I'm done.
What an
I've done
occurrence.
my blab. I'm good.
You have fucking killed it. So, okay, so is there anything else you want to plug?
No.
Is there anything else you need to say?
Epic Games, I love you. NVIDIA, you guys are great. Thanks for giving us those cards to actually show that we could do something. Capturing Reality, you guys are fantastic. Acer, thank you for the headset. HP New Zealand, thank you for the laptop. But guys, come on, get together and just give me some fucking money.
Yeah. Make this guy. Let
Tired
this
of
guy
couch
do what he
surfing,
can
You
do.
clearly believe in what
Yeah.
we're doing,
Yeah.
and you're
Tired
clearly
of
giving us like
couch surfing.
thousands
Seal
of
the
dollars a
deal.
month.
Give me
Make
that
it
corporate
happen.
black
Yeah.
card. Give me that
Yeah.
corporate black card.
Amen,
Give me
brother. Amen.
Hey,
Yeah,
come on.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Well,
Anyways, to wrap it up, this was a digital asset. Please comment. Tell us what you think about what's going on. Do you think this is something that is worth our attention? Should we invest in this? Absolutely, I'd say. But what else is there?
what are your thoughts? I mean, listen, there's a lot of we've talked about a lot of moral sort of decisions that we have to make as a people about rights, about
Ethical considerations, if you will.
considerations.
Absolutely.
And I want to kind of have a deeper conversation, and that's the whole point of the show. I'm not telling you where to think and how to think, but I want to know what you think.
Yeah, and that's
Okay?
where this conversation starts, right? Go ahead and comment below.
Take a hit of this digital acid.
Turn
Thank
on,
you so much for signing.
tune in.
Come
You guys
through.
are welcome. You guys
Fucking
are welcome.
crushing
It's
it.
been, it's been
Drop out.
fantastic.
And listen.
Thank you, Simon. Yeah.
We are the fucking the misfits of the industry, and we're crushing it. So this is the other side of tech, the creatives, where we get along.
Yeah.
And
starving artists.
You're not gonna find other shit like this
Yeah.
anywhere else.
We're doing it because we love it.
Yeah,
that's
amen,
what it's all
amen,
about.
amen.
Shit.
So,
Keeping it real over here at the Digital Acid. Make sure
Turn
you
on,
follow,
tune out.
subscribe. Fucking look
Drop
this
out.
guy up.
Stay tuned.
YouTube this guy.
With
Hit up Steam VR.
the Digital Acid.
and virtual reality. Reality virtual.
See, I told you.
Reality virtual.
The
I'm
dyslexic
dyslexic.
people.
You can't do that
So
to me. I'm
we are realityvirtual.co.
Reality
We love that everyone thinks that
virtual.co.
we're virtual reality.
say that again, realityvirtual.com.
realityvirtual.co. Do not get it.
.co.
Up.
Yeah.
realityvirtual.co.
And actualreality.io.
Actualreality.io.
And deeppbr.io.
Deep PBR, and it's not a beer. What it stands for,
It sounds sexy though.
it does. And I love the way you say it.
The Digital Acid signing
Deep
out.
PBR.
Subscribe.